People in Douluo can travel across all realms. This video is purely for entertainment and does not infringe on copyrights or laws. The rights to the novel and image belong to the original author. We do not claim ownership. Don't like waiting and want to listen to this fanfic in full now? Subscribe to our Patreon, where you'll find the best fanfics. Chapter 76 Dazuna, Death. Ice escape ice rock hall no. Boom. How's fireball didn't explode the wall of the ice escape, it just melted a small piece of the ice wall point, because the heat of a big fireball alone is not enough to melt the ice escape, otherwise Sasuke would not be trapped in the ice crystal of the magic mirror. Give up, Ice Dun's defense is much stronger than Earth Dun's. Bei's voice gradually became emotionless, because he didn't like killing, so when he really got to this point, he would give up his feelings, and become a tool for fighting mercilessly. It's a pity you didn't wrap yourself up. A playful voice sounded behind Bei. Nanny. Bei looked back in shock. Yunshu's figure appeared behind him, and the long knife in his hand was already on his neck. I lost. Bei looked forward and found Yunshu's figure still standing in front of the two of them. So that's it. Was it the shadow clone back then? When Yunshu used his avatar and Huadin to cooperate with Sasuke to burn down the magic mirror ice crystal, a lot of water vapor was generated around him, and Yunshu's avatar took the opportunity to hide at that time. In addition, Yunshu's shout at that time attracted all Bei's attention, and naturally he forgot about Yunshu's avatar. This brat. Zabusan looked at Yunshu in shock, never expecting this Uchiha to defeat Shiro so easily. Good job. Kakashi's eyes lit up. Come with me. Yunshu's shadow clone left the battlefield with Bei. What are you going to do? Sasuke and Naruto looked at the operation of the shadow clone in doubt. Of course I let him go. But of course it was impossible for Yunshu to speak out. Bei is a strange person. He has regarded himself as a tool for the rest of his life. If he finds out that he will not kill Gigi again, he will commit suicide if nothing happens. Since he will die no matter what, it is better to ask him to use one hand now. The way of sealing, and then he will die in Kakashi's hands at that time. He planned to ask Shiro about the way to form one-handed seals, and then let him die on Kakashi's Rachel following the plot in the original drama. At that time, he was pretending to be attacked by Bei, and the shadow clone was broken up. TCH. What a waste. Seeing Bei disappearing in front of the crowd, Zabusan cursed secretly. Now you have no helpers. Yunshu and the two came behind Zabuza, and now surrounded Zabuza with Kakashi one after the other. HMPH. A kid is just a kid. Do you think it's useful if there are many people? Zabusan sneered, and then gradually disappeared in the thick fog. The content about the fog concealment technique was wrongly written before, and the caster of the fog concealment technique will also be disturbed by the thick fog, but because of the practice of silent assassination, he can clearly perceive the fog in the fog, the location of the target, and then use the fog to come behind the target and execute it with the beheading sword. However, Sharingan can detect the flow of chakra in the fog, so the protagonist can ignore the fog. Seeing that Busin disappeared, Yunshu quickly opened the Sangouryu Sharingan eye to observe. If Busin is in the mist, he will definitely use Washinshin. Yunshu must copy this ability, otherwise those mentally powerful people in Douluo world you can easily see through the fog concealment technique, and then make a counterattack, and the ability of fog instant body can make up for this weakness in the fog, and continuously perform short distance teleportation in the fog, so as to confuse the enemy sight. Throat, spine, lungs, liver, carotid artery, collarbone, kidneys and heart. Next. Which vital point do you want me to attack? The classic assassination line sounded again, and Yunshu almost couldn't hold back his laughter. Assassination also engages in this kind of psychological tactics. If you are capable, why don't you just cut Dazuna's throat with a knife? The more you talk, the more incompetent you are. You have to rely on scaring people to complete the assassination. Kakashi-san. Will it be wind escape? The three of Yunshu had joined Kakashi because of the thick fog, and Yunshu looked at Kakashi. As a man who had copied thousands of ninjutsu, he would not even in stock. Yunshu remembered that Goju Yagura had a ninjutsu of wind escape. Once the typhoon had passed, this technique was the nemesis of the technique of concealing the fog, and it could blow away all the fog created by the concealing technique. It's useless. If there is no ninjutsu to clear all the fog at once, the fog will fill up again, endlessly. Kakashi said seriously. Soga. No wonder in the original book he just blows away the mist around himself, and the three of them, instead of blowing it all at once. In fact, he just doesn't know that kind of powerful wind escape ninjutsu. Kakashi seemed to have guessed what Yunshu was thinking, suddenly looked at Yunshu, and then stared at Yunshu directly. Sasuke, you guys put up a swastika formation to protect Dazuna. Shukun and I spread out and stand around them. Kakashi quickly arranged the positions of everyone. In this way, we will wait for the action of not cutting and see who he attacks first. No matter who they are in this position, they will be easy to support. Do you think I can't do anything like this? There was a voice of no longer chopping and sneering in the mist. Water escape, water Dragon Ball technique. Although he couldn't see the seal of no further cut, but he must have heard Kakashi's arrangement, and then instantly thought of a way to deal with it, which is to use powerful ninjutsu to disperse the crowd. Not good. Kakashi exclaimed. If everyone was dispersed in the thick fog, he would not be sure to protect everyone present. Earth done double earth flow wall. Kakashi quickly made seals, and the two sides of the bridge were blocked by the two walls with dog heads carved on them. In this way, we only need to look at which direction the attack is. Kakashi looked at his direction, while Yunshu looked at the other side. However, after waiting for a long time, there was no trace of ninjutsu. Been tricked. Kakashi's body trembled, and he turned around to find that Zabusan had appeared in the middle of the crowd. He uses ninjutsu to draw everyone's attention to the defense, so that he can use the mist to come to the target silently, because everyone is waiting for the attack at this time, and no one will notice an ordinary person path. Exclamation mark. The beheading sword sliced across Dazuna's body, and Dazuna died on the spot. Okay, my mission is complete. It's up to us next. Kakashi of Sharingan. Zabusan said with a grin. Dazuna-san. Sakura and Naruto on the side seemed unable to accept this and looked at Datsuna, who was already cooling down in disbelief. End of this chapter. Chapter 77. Dasnathan. Everyone never expected that their client would be killed in front of their faces, so the mission would fail now. How can it be repaired? How can it be repaired? Naruto clenched his fists angrily. How could this happen? Sakura covered her mouth and almost burst into tears. Only Sasuke and Yunshu stared closely at Zabuku, for fear that he would chop another person. Naruto. Sakura. The most important thing now is to deal with the enemy in front of you. Seeing that the two were still immersed in the client's death, Kakashi said in a deep voice. If you fail the super mission, if you pass it back, you will lose your face. Moreover, the state of these two people can easily be targeted by Zabusan and repeat the mistakes of Dazuna. After the two heard this, they quickly put away their emotions and looked at Zabuza in resentment laugh. Exclamation mark. Sasuke took the opportunity to go around and stab Kune in the back of the heart. Whoa. The uncut body turned into a puddle of water and fell to the ground. Water body. Sasuke's pupils shrank suddenly and then quickly rolled over, dodging the big knife that was swiping behind him. Hey, the little devil has grown up. Zabusan said in surprise after seeing that Sasuke was able to react and dodge his attack the moment he found out that he had been tricked. Sasuke didn't speak and stared at Zabuku in front of him. At that moment, the hairs on Sasuke's whole body stood on end. Even if it was a little later, he would be beheaded with a single knife. Have you awakened Sharingan? Zabusan frowned because he saw a black gob in Sasuke's eyes staring at him. Sharingan. Sasuke was also shocked. He didn't expect to open Sharingan at such a critical moment. HMPH. Your movements. I can almost see it. Sasuke swelled instantly after learning that he had activated the Uchiha clan's blood succession limit and began to become a little arrogant. Sasuke. Don't be careless. The opponent is a Jonin who has experienced many battles, and his strength is not inferior to mine. Kakashi couldn't help reminding, after seeing Sasuke's arrogant look, if Jonin is so easy to solve, he doesn't deserve to be called I injured it. I know, I can't wait to kill him. Sasuke was a little excited, and his whole body began to tremble slightly, which was too excited. Yunshu looked at his appearance and shook his head. Like Vegeta, this kid is easy to be confident and easy to be slapped in the face. I'm looking forward to it. Zabusan smiled disdainfully after hearing Sasuke's words, and then disappeared again after speaking. Disappeared again. Naruto and Sakura said in panic, after seeing Zabusan disappear. The last time Dazuna disappeared. This time, who is the target? Don't panic. Everyone back to back. Kakashi commanded everyone, and then he started to observe chakra in the mist alone. Since Sakura wants to stick with Sasuke, Yunshu is helpless and Naruto back to back. Naruto, how many chakras do you have left? Yunshu said softly. If he spoke loudly here, he would be heard by Zabusan, and then he relied on his voice to determine the location of everyone, so he had to keep his voice low when discussing things. Chakra. Naruto scratched his head in embarrassment when he heard it. At this stage, Ninetales chakra is still affecting Naruto, and he doesn't know exactly how much chakra he can use. Separate all your shadow clones to look for them, and don't kill them again. Be careful not to keep your clones close to us, or we will be in danger. Then give your body to me to protect. Yunshu thought for a while, since he couldn't expose himself. If you don't have the strength, then you will be the logistics. Let Naruto find Zabusan to guide Kakashi, and you will be responsible for protecting Naruto's body. Yaxi, leave it to me. Naruto patted his chest after hearing this. He is good at avatars. Multiple shadow clone technique. Bang 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 bang. In an instant, hundreds of Uzumaki Naruto appeared on the bridge, and then all the Naruto left the center of the bridge in a swarm, and began to search for Zabusan at the bottom of the bridge, on the water, and in the forest. This method is not used in the original book, because such a large number of shadow clones will make Naruto's body unable to bear it. If the shadow clone loses too much Naruto's spirit, it will quickly consume. So if the enemy kills a large number of shadow clones, it has not been done yet. Whatever happens, I will be cold first. Besides, with Naruto's IQ, he would never think of such a method, and even if Kakashi thought of it, he would not propose it, because a weak companion is a trick for the enemy, and it is easy to protect him from time to time. Being attacked by a sneak attack resulted in the entire team being killed. Unless you give up this teammate, but it is impossible to give up your partner with Kakashi's urine, so this method was passed by Kakashi first. But since someone chooses to take care of Naruto, and is not afraid of being attacked, Kakashi doesn't care. After all, according to his observations in the past few days, Yunshu is quite reliable, and his strength is also very guaranteed. Found it. Naruto suddenly shouted, "Nani nani 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 nani." In an instant, countless Naruto surprised voices sounded. It seems that having too many Naruto is not a good thing. Yunshu covered his ears speechlessly. Kakashi-san, I'll leave it to you. Yunshu nodded to Kakashi. Because there were too many Naruto, the fog began to decrease a lot. With so many Naruto watching, he was not afraid of him running away. Well, leave it to me. Kakashi tightened his gloves, and then walked towards Zabusan. Isn't the shadow clone over yet? Yunshu frowned. The order he conveyed to the shadow clone was to let Bei leave, after obtaining the method of one-handed seal. It stands to reason that even if Bei left, he would not rush again approaching them. After all, he can only become a burden when he comes to Zabusan alone. It is better to hide in the dark, and wait for a shot at any time like the first time he met Kakashi. But Yunshu's shadow clone has not been cancelled. That is to say, something seems to have happened to the shadow clone beyond his expectations. Even if it's a problem with the sealing technique, Sharingan should be able to quickly copy it and then cancel the clone. What's wrong with it? Yunshu thought with a little uneasiness in his heart. Yunshu felt a little flustered when something out of his control happened. Yunshu was taken aback suddenly, and the news of the shadow clone came back suddenly. Lying grass. So that's the case. I said why there is no response for so long. Yunshu thought helplessly in his heart, but he didn't expect that his mutated Shiranai Shadao clone could not be used. So the shadow clone, Yunshu, specially wrote down what Bei said, and then buried it in a designated place, and then cancelled the shadow clone. There seems to be something wrong with the writer assistant on the Apple mobile phone, and the reward information is not displayed at all. So I saw everyone's rewards at the starting point today. Thanks. End of this chapter. Chapter 78. So Bei should have returned. Yunshu didn't believe that he would run away if he just let him go. It was impossible for this guy with a big brain to give up and run away alone without beheading him. Sure enough, not far from the bridge, Yunshu sensed a figure approaching quietly, lurking there as if waiting for some opportunity. He knew that, even if he showed up, he wouldn't be able to help Zabusan, so he could only look for an opportunity to withstand a fatal attack for Zabusan. Since Zabusan was the only one who was threatening, the three Zhaoqiangs and Yunshu began to watch the battle between Kakashi and Zabusan. I don't know if they will use some other ninjutsu. Yunshu didn't know which ninjutsu Kakashi copied as the Tuaing, but the situation on the water surface battlefield is obviously not suitable for using Tuden. So Yunshu was looking forward to Kakashi being able to use the powerful offensive ninjutsu of Reiki. After all, who wouldn't like Rachel's famous and powerful ninjutsu? I remember, Kakashi's original book seems to be Chasing Teeth with Earth Escape, Psychic Art. That's right. This psychic art must definitely be learned. Yunshu thought to himself. Although ninja beasts who signed a contract in the ninja world cannot be summoned in Douluo world, if they go back to Douluo world and sign a contract with a monster, like damning in the early stage, wouldn't they be directly invincible? When encountering opponents who cannot be defeated, directly channel damning or out and send them back directly after the fight. Anyway, if the psychic spell is cancelled, they can directly return to the place before being psychic. The place appeared and was hunted down by people. The beasts are gone. Where to go to kill? Human beings can't deliberately chase to the center of the Stardew forest, right? What's the difference between that and going directly to reincarnation? Moreover, psychic art can also carry out human psychic, although it needs the help of contracted beasts to operate, but this can be regarded as a convenient space movement. For example, Yunshu and Xiaowu signed a contract of blood with Erming, but since Xiaowu can't and cannot use spiritism, Erming can only have Yunshu perform the spirit. But if Yunshu wants to bring Xiaowu, who is thousands of miles away, he only needs to channel Erming, and then let Erming directly reverse the channel on Xiaowu. This shit is no faster than firing a rocket, and the reverse psychic technique, unless someone specially blocked the space around the psychic, it couldn't stop Xiaowu from being psychic at all. If in the future we can build a device like a telephone that transmits sound over thousands of miles, once Yunshu or Xiaowu are in danger, wouldn't it be perfect to call Erming and ask him to use reverse psychic directly? The thinking diverges too quickly. Yunshu shook his head. A single psychic spell could lead him astray, and now he is fighting very seriously. How can he be so disrespectful and not beheaded? Oh, the result is about to come out. Yunshu murmured while watching Zabusan, who was treated by Kakashi in his own way. Zabusan was attacked by Kakashi's shadow clone and was trapped by the water prison technique. Now he is waiting for Kakashi to give him a fatal blow. It's about time for Bei to go. Yunshu glanced at the place he had noticed before, and secretly Bei's figure was about to move. Zenbuzan, you are too dangerous. Mr. Dazuna you killed represents the courage of this country. Kakashi shouted at Zabuzan, holding Rachel in his hand. And the scene of using Reiki was also copied by Yunshu. Sasuke looked at Yunshu's Sangao Hyusha Lunan with envy on his face, wishing to kill Naruto and Sakura on the spot to add to the fun. Then he opened the three-hook jade and grilly laugh! Kakashi's Reiki directly penetrated Shiro's body, and this guy used the instant body technique to come to Zabuza and block the blow for him. You said that my future is only death. Hehe. Kakashi, I want to give you back this sentence. Before he died, Bei wiped out Kakashi's shadow clone with a flying needle and put the trapped Zabusan in the water dungeon was released, and Shiro's left hand firmly held Kakashi's right hand to release Reiki. Zabusan held the big sword behind him and swung it, wanting to cut Kakashi in half together with Shiro. No, you are really going to die. The feeling of the rest of your life has completely spread your attention. Round dance. Yunshu quietly came behind Zabuza with the help of the fog instant body technique. After finishing speaking, he slashed down on his back without any delay, without giving him a chance to react. Kai! Nanny, you little brat. His body was in severe pain, and he tried all his strength to turn around, but Yunshu stabbed him in the back again, and he died completely. Kakashi-san, I'm really sorry, I actually let him go secretly. I just didn't expect him to come back at the critical moment. Yunshu didn't forget to give Kakashi a good impression at this time. See, Leo TZU is a kind-hearted man. Don't you Konoha like people like me? Kakashi didn't pay attention to Yunshu, but was shocked by Shiro's behavior. To be honest, Yunshu was also shocked when he read the original book. Rest in peace. Kakashi sighed and closed Shiro's eyes. Oh, this trash is already dead. A disgusting voice came from the bridge. Kado? Yunshu raised his eyebrows. Did this guy still come to die? Yunshu couldn't figure it out. It's not that these people didn't know the fighting ability of ninjas. They dared to provoke a Jonin. They were obviously in a high position, but their knowledge was like a frog in a well, making people speechless. I didn't expect him to appear here, Yunshu said to himself inadvertently, but the voice was not very small, and Kakashi at the side heard it. You know him? Kakashi looked at Yunshu and asked in confusion. He is the chief culprit who caused this country to become like this. Kado. I have been chasing him for a long time. Seeing this country now, I want to eliminate harm for the people, but because of the two people around him who hit with chains together, the interference from Ninja Brothers and a group of gangsters has been unsuccessful. But I didn't expect that he didn't bring ninjas here today, Yunshu explained to Kakashi. This wave of explanations is perfect. The ghost brother has been dealt with by Kakashi. There is no proof, and the above said that he still can't succeed also proves from the side that Kado has never seen Yunshu, even if he goes up to Kado to take revenge. Kado says no knowing himself, Kakashi wouldn't think too much about it. After all, since the boss of a black society has hired so many people to protect him, it means that there are many people who secretly want to kill him, and Yunshu is just one of them. Thank you very much for the reward of 1500 starting coins from Brother Nanxinian. End of this chapter. Chapter 79. Kakashi-san. Can we kill him? Yunshu looked at Kado with a gritted teeth expression. This wave of operating Yunshu felt that it could increase his hidden points in Kakashi's heart again. Eliminating harm for the people is a serious excuse, and there is no crime of murder in this world. For some ninjas, it is no problem for me to kill you. If you are upset, well, it really needs to be dealt with, otherwise the status quo of this country cannot be changed at all. Kakashi looked at Kado and his face sank. The author watched the movement of the keyboard hands in front of him and slowly stopped. Point next. There are a lot of clips that are not suitable for children. After dealing with Kado's matter, Yunshu left Kakashi and the others directly. After all, there was still a cheat book waiting for him somewhere. Although Yunshu's shadow clone gave back some memories about the one-handed seal, but he didn't remember all of them, so he wrote it down and hid it for Yunshu's body to come and take it away. Hey, where's the tree-kun? Kakashi said doubtfully, looking at the missing Yunshu after packing up his things. I don't know. It seems that there is something urgent, and he left suddenly, and his weapon hasn't been taken away yet. Sakura pointed to the samurai sword at the side and said depressedly. She always felt that this person had a problem with his personality, and he had just met him. A big boy who looked very sunny when he was young, but his attitude towards her changed 180 degrees afterwards. Leaving? Kakashi was stunned. What is this? Oh, what a pity. Then let's leave. Fortunately, Ms. Tsunami signed the agreement, and our mission was completed. This time I was really careless. Kakashi looked up at the sky and said lightly. Although Dazuna was killed by Zabuchi, the main reason is that Kakashi and the others were too incompetent, which caused their employer to be killed. Speaking of Dazuna, the three of them were silent. If they were not too careless, Dazuna would not have died at all. Hey, what's going on with all of this? Yunshu suddenly appeared in front of everyone and said with a smile. Kakashi, Mr. Tree, Sasuke, Uchiha Tree, Naruto, why are you back? I didn't leave again. I just left something where I left it before, so I went to pick it up. Yunshu spread his hands. Soga, it's actually like this, because you helped us, so we want to invite you to playing Konoha for a while. Kakashi said what was in his heart. Go to your village to play? But I have no money. Yunshu was happy in his heart, but on the surface he didn't agree to Kakashi. This matter, Sasuke. Mr. Chu is a member of your Uchiha clan, and he will be taken care of by you during the time he is in Konoha. Kakashi came to Sasuke and patted him on the shoulder seriously. said. Leave it to me, but Yoshi, Sasuke, I'll leave this matter to you. Naruto also gloated. Sasuke, I didn't get any money either. The family property was taken back by the village. Then I will trouble you next time. Yunshu came to Sasuke and said with a smile. In fact, it is very simple to get money, just go get Kado's inheritance. But Yunshu is not interested. No matter how much money in this world there is, he can't take it back and use it, and Yunshu is not short of money. There are still a lot of gold coins in the space. As for enjoying, Yunshu doesn't have this idea. On the surface, Konoha seems to be the safest and most prosperous village in the ninja world, but it's actually more dangerous than that. If Danzo's dog knows that Arachaha who has opened a 3-god jade comes to Konoha, he will definitely be the first. It was time to investigate Yunshu's details, and without any threat, he directly sent people at the route to arrest Yunshu and gouge out his eyes. As for the identity of Yunshu's tourist, in the words of Danzo, humph, everyone in Uchiha deserves to die. Therefore, in order to avoid too much trouble, it is better for Yunshu to be more cautious. Although the body of a ninja has no special features and can be stabbed to death with only a knife, it still has a lot of strange abilities, especially Danzo has one arm, eyes energy. This technique is not applied to the opponent, but to Danzo himself, so Yunshu currently has no better solution. This is Konoha. It looks quite lively. Coming to Konoha, although Yunshu was very cautious, he still said very sincerely, yes, that's right. I know there is a ramen restaurant that is very delicious. I invite you to eat it. Naruto said excitedly after hearing someone praise his village, and then remembered his favorite ramen. As he said that, he wanted to take Yunshu to eat. Naruto, I'm going to take Jukun to Hokage-sama. Kakashi stopped the excited Naruto and said, that's right. After that, you must go to eat ramen with me. It's absolutely amazing. Naruto said to Yunshu. Yaxi. No problem. Yunshu gave Naruto a thumbs up. It's really warm, Mr. Shu. Naruto couldn't help but sigh when he saw Yunshu, who was taken away by Kakashi. On the other hand, Sakura was thinking secretly whether this person is schizophrenic. Sasuke squeezed his hands in his pockets, wondering if such a small amount of money would be enough. Fortunately, this mission was finally completed, and because of the appearance of the ninja, the level of the mission may be improved, and the reward should be the same. Will raise. Dang dang dang! Exclamation mark. Hokage-sama. Kakashi stood at the door of Hokage's office with Yunshu. Is it Kakashi? Come in. An old man's voice came from inside. The task this time has been completed. Sarutobi Hiruzen looked at Kakashi and said kindly, but saw a trace of curiosity in the eyes of Yunshu behind Kakashi. Kakashi, who is this? Hiruzen Sarutobi looked at Yunshu and asked suspiciously. Master Hokage, don't worry, I need to report on this mission. In such a hurry? It seems that something unexpected happened in this mission. Sarutobi Hiruzen also knew that there must be an accident in this mission, otherwise Kakashi would not be so serious. Next, Kakashi reported to Hiruzen Sarutobi that he met Oni brother and Zabuza on the way to the mission, and that Yunshu helped solve Zabuza. It's just that Kakashi didn't explain the situation of Yunshu Sharingan for the time being, and he didn't know whether it was because he wanted to take care of Yunshu, or if he planned to secretly report the matter to Hiruzen Sarutobi. But Yunshu didn't care, because even if Kakashi didn't report to Yunshu, he would expose the Sharingan thing. When Tsunade was Hokage after Sarutobi Hiruzen's death. The dog is conducting a secret pie transaction. Thank you for the 200 starting coins that I'm used to diving. Thank you Nanxinian for the 5000 starting point reward. End of this chapter. Chapter 80 Sharingan changes. Yunshu, who came out of the Hokage building, also separated from Kakashi. He left in a hurry after learning about the Chunin exam, not knowing what he wanted to do. As for Yunshu, Kakashi asked him to go to Sasuke, and Sasuke would arrange his basic necessities in Konoha. Nima, a Jonin, actually withholds so much. Could it be that the money from doing missions in the past was used to buy pornographic books? Yunshu scolded Kakashi in his heart. Speaking of which, I remember that Lutuo must be looking for trouble with Yalua and the others. Yunshu rubbed his chin, ready to go to the place where they parted ways just now. On the way, Yunshu found that there seemed to be someone following him all the time. It seems that Hokage-sama doesn't feel relieved that I live with Sasuke-kun, or is it a member of Najin? Yunshu narrowed his eyes and thought to himself. But after thinking about it carefully, I know that it is impossible for Kakashi to tell Danzo about his own affairs. In this case, it should be arranged by Sarutobi Hiruza. It's late. When Yunshu arrived here, the good baby had already come down, and Yunshu also missed the plot where Sasuke pretended to be forced and almost overturned the car. The one who hid in the tree and peeped, "I'm also very interested in you." Calabash baby seemed to feel something and looked at the tree where he was before. Yunshu. "Well, I'm just here to see what's going on here, not peeping." Yunshu shook his finger and said, "Your name?" Hirua said coldly. "Well, you misunderstood. I'm not from Muai village, nor a ninja." Yunshu's goal has nothing to do with Sandyin, so he doesn't want to have anything to do with Sandyin. What about me?" Naruto asked happily, pointing at himself. "Not interested. Since you're not a ninja, forget it." Calabash baby said and left with the two of them. Naruto. "Konohamaru, do I look weak?" Naruto squatted aside with a constipated expression and asked Konohamaru. "Well, he's a little weaker than brother Sasuke." Konohamaru scratched his head and said. His words made Naruto collapse instantly. Okay, strength can be cultivated. Don't you want to take me to eat the most delicious ramen?" Yunshu said with a smile. He really wanted to try this delicacy that Naruto praised, and many fans, the protagonists of the novel, have all been here before, so Yunshu has to check in no matter what. By the way, ramen. Ichiraku ramen. Speaking of ramen, Naruto's expression changed instantly, and his expression of constipation changed into a smile in an instant as if relieved. "Let's go. Ramen. Ramen." Naruto grabbed Yunshu's arm and ran towards the ramen shop excitedly. For the next period of time, Yunshu followed Sasuke and the three of them. After all, Kakashi was preparing for the Chunin exam for them, so the three of them also took Yunshu with them when they did the mission. Of course, the remuneration will also be shared with Yunshu. After all, Kanzai and Sasuke, who always let Yunshu talk to Sasuke, are not happy. The Chunin exam. Yunshu smiled, not paying too much attention. Konoha's collapse plan doesn't go well with Yunshu. Sarutobi Hiru's death is a good thing for Yunshu. After all, this old guy has an affair with Danzo. Yunshu, who is facing Danzo, will of course hope that the other cow will take the lead. It's just that, one day before the Chunin exam, something happened, and Yunshu's Sharingan finally showed a certain mutation that he expected. "How is it? Do you want to come again?" Yunshu stood not far in front of Sasuke with a knife in his hand, looking at him with a smile and said. Sasuke also saw through the battle with Zabusan that Yunshu's strength was much higher than his, and Yunshu could easily deal with the last two and even without Kakashi's blocking. So Sasuke found Yunshu one day and asked Yunshu to help train his strength. Kakashi didn't know what he was busy with during this time, and he would let them move on their own after each gathering, so Sasuke let Yunshu train him. And Yunshu is also a cannibal with a short mouth and soft hands. Since these days food and drink are all paid by Sasuke, Yunshu has no reason to refuse him, and then Yunshu started to fight Sasuke. It's not over yet," Sasuke said pantingly. His chakra was running out, and his physical strength was exhausted. Even so, Yunshu in front of him still looked calm and at ease, and always looked at him with a smile, which made him very depressed. "Call out." A shuriken cut through the air and flew towards Yunshu. Yunshu just flicked it lightly with his hand, and the shuriken was bounced by Yunshu to a corner of the training ground like a toy. Huo dun huo. Before the seal was finished, Sasuke passed out. Really, being strong is not the way to play. Yunshu helplessly walked over to support Sasuke, ready to carry him back. Just as Sasuke's head rested on Yunshu's shoulder, Yunshu's Sharingan suddenly produced a special fluctuation. Yunshu looked at Sasuke's writing wheel eyes and suddenly had a thought of holding it down. "This is what?" Yunshu covered his eyes and said in shock. "Why do you have to pick it out?" Yunshu asked, puzzled in his heart, as if he was talking to his Sharingan. "Eat, acquire, absorb, grow." However, Yunshu only got such a few words from the fluctuation of Sharingan. Get Sharingan. Eat it to absorb pupil power growth. Yunshu was taken aback by this meaning. Fuck. My Sharingan is so domineering. Yunshu thought in shock. It grew by absorbing other Sharingan. Exclamation mark. Why didn't he respond after spending so long with Sasuke, but today? Could it be because of the distance? Yunshu looked at Sasuke's face on his shoulder. He had never had such close contact with Sasuke before, so he didn't respond. Just eating Sharingan, does it have to be so disgusting? Yunshu had a bitter face, thinking to himself, eyeballs. What's the difference between eating eyeballs and eating people? Yunshu has seen someone eat a pig's eye. Good guy. It was cooked and eaten, and now Yunshu had to eat the fresh eyeballs he had just picked out. Ouch, I can't think about it anymore. Yunshu thought about that picture and almost spat it out. Do I have to do this? Absorb. Absorb. Sharingan seems to have sensed Yunshu's rejection of this matter, and there was another wave of fluctuations, this time only the word absorb. Could it be that I made a mistake? Absorb Sharingan directly? Yunshu thought in surprise. It doesn't matter, try asking Danzo or Itachi for eyeballs next time. Yunshu decided to talk about it when the time comes, and he can't think about it anymore, otherwise he won't be able to eat supper. End of this chapter. Chapter 81 Chunin Exam. Now that you know how to advance Sharingan, it will be much easier. The next day, Yunshu began to prepare for the plan. To obtain Sharingan point, the first target, of course, is Mr. Konoha, who died because he sealed half of the bridge. I really don't want to have anything to do with this old Yunbi. Yunshu looked up at the sky and thought to himself. But there is no other way now. Yunshu began to record some important information about Konoha, as well as some detailed information about members of Konoha Anbu, and even a few routes, such as Shanzanfeng and Yaonu, who had a high appearance rate, take route etc. Yunshu couldn't believe that he had grasped Konoha so clearly, and he was not afraid of Danzo, who even got the information on the deepest route of Konoha. As long as he has this information, Yunshu will be a favorite in any ninja village. Who doesn't want to have the confidential information of the opponent's village? What is Anbu's job? In addition to protecting Hokage, it is nothing more than completing some assassination tasks issued by Hokage, and preventing foreign enemies from invading Konoha. Even the most secretive troops in the village have been thoroughly investigated, and they know what they eat and like, so that doesn't explain the problem. Due to the exam, Yunshu won't be able to see Sasuke and the others for the next week or so Yunshu plans to go to the Hokage building to see if he can receive the task and observe the terrain by the way. Last time, because it was a new arrival, Yunshu just observed it a little bit. This time he just took the opportunity to study it carefully. At this time, Naruto and the others were going to take the written test venue. Hey, it's better for you to be quiet a little bit. A guy with silver hair and a pair of retro round, no, glasses that should be considered popular in this era came over and said to the 9 newcomers in front of him, "Aren't you the 9 ninjas of this year? You look so cute, and you are noisy. Really? This is not going hiking. Who are you? Why do you look so great?" Ino looked unhappy when he saw Dao say that. "My name is Pharmacist Dao. Compared to this, it's better for you to look around first." Several people heard the sound and looked around, and found that almost all the candidates were staring at them with the expression of dead parents. Behind you, those guys are unyielding, very impatient. Everyone is very anxious before the exam, so I will remind you, before you make trouble. Dao said, looking at the few people in front of him. It's really helpless, they are all newcomers who can't tell the right from the left. It reminds me of my former self. Then, so to speak. Is Toku a student? Sakura seemed to have thought of something, and asked Toto. Dao nodded. Then, is it the second time for Senpai to take the Chunin exam? Sakura asked again. No, the 7th time. Because this exam is only reported twice a year, so this is my 4th year. Dodo said indifferently. Anyway, he took the Chunin exam just to collect information, and help Orochimaru pay attention, just some potential rookies. In other words, you must know a lot about the exam, right? It's okay. Dao said with a smile. Ha. Senpai Dao is amazing. Naruto didn't understand anything, and somehow felt that Dao was awesome. It's so good that I haven't passed it 7 times. Shikamaru muttered from the side. The Chunin exam is really that difficult? Ah. It's so troublesome. Shikamaru complained after hearing what happened to Kabuki. Then, let me reveal some information to the lovely backs. Use this ninja card. After talking, Dao took out a thick stack of yellow cards from his pocket. Ninja card? Everyone asked in confusion. To put it simply, it is a card that turns the information into a mark with chakra, and then burns it. Pocket put the card on the ground. There are nearly 200 cards here. Although it looks blank, as long as I use my chakra, all the information can be displayed. Pout stretched out his finger and pressed on the card, and the card began to rotate gradually. Bang! There was a soft sound, and some information appeared on the blank card instantly, recording the number of people from each major ninja village who came to Konoha to take the Chunin exam. Then, find someone for me. Sasuke suddenly thought of someone after seeing this magical card, a certain idler who was clocking in Konoha at this time. Yes, what's his name? Dao continued to ask. Uchiha Tree. Sasuke slowly said Yunshu's stage name. Uchiha Tree. Dao frowned. He didn't collect much information about this person at all. After all, Yunshu just came to Konoha not long ago, and besides fighting with Sasuke, he had never fought at all. However, based on that battle alone, Dao could roughly deduce Yunshu's ability point. It's just that, because Yunshu didn't reveal his relationship with Sharingan, Kado hasn't notified Orochimaru of Uchiha's news. Because he is not sure whether Yunshu just happened to be surnamed Uchiha, or he really belongs to the Uchiha clan. After all, Uchiha has been exterminated for so long, and he was also in Konoha when he was exterminated. He also investigated Uchiha's extermination in this situation. It is confirmed that Sasuke Uchiha is the only one left alive. Uchiha Tree. This person's situation is a bit special. Tao took out a blank card and put it on the ground. Because he is not a native of Konoha, and the time to appear is too tight, so I didn't investigate too much detailed information, but in terms of strength, my guess in my heart has a rough result. Dao stretched out his finger and put on the card, and then input his own chakra into it. Bang! Some information about Uchiha Tree appeared on the card. In terms of age, although the figure looks similar to me, it is indeed in the same class as you, only 12 years old. As for the task experience, although he is not a ninja of Konoha, he participated in the mission of escorting the country of the 7th class Kakashi teacher. It is said that he personally killed the Kirigakure ghost, one of the former Kirigakure 7 swordsmen. If you don't cut it again, even though you rely on a sneak attack, being able to kill a Jonin with a sneak attack shows your strength and character. This man uses a knife. It is said that he is a wanderer. Sasuke-kun, you want to know more about him, because he beat you easily without changing his face or beating. Speak up. What? How is it possible? He defeated Sasuke easily. The rest of the information is all I inquired about, but only this incident happened in Konoha, so it is absolutely true. Dao said seriously. As an information dealer, although he is temporarily in charge, some people suspect that the authenticity of the information is also an insult to him, so this aspect is more serious. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 82 is late. Well, this one is also good. Boss, pack it. Yunshu has been shopping in Konoha for a long time, and will pack up any delicious food he sees or tastes, and then throw it into the system space when no one sees it. These have to be brought back for Zao and the others to eat. Anyway, there is no way to do it for nearly a month during the exam, so it's better to go back and see my wife. It has been 3 or 4 days since Sasuke and the others took the exam, and they almost met Orochimaru right now. What a pity. If Yunshu participated in this exam, maybe they could still hook up with Orochimaru. It's a pity that I'm not a Konoha ninja, not even a genin, so I'm not eligible to take this exam. In the past 2 days, Yunshu seems to be playing, but in fact, he is secretly observing and recording the whereabouts of those Anbu. Although there are only 70 people in Anbu, such a big Konoha village can sense them almost everywhere. Yunshu is planning the escape route in the event of the worst situation. You can't just think about the good side of everything. You must also take the worst situation into consideration when doing blackmail. Otherwise your eyes will be blackened and you will be blind. Muai village is said to be a village, but it can actually be called a city-state. There are regular troops in it, and the work efficiency is very high. As for the sky, although Yunshu has wings, Konoha also has a barrier. Since the original book did not give too much data on the barrier, Yunshu is not clear about the role of Konoha's barrier. Kind of enchantment, or defensive, or offensive. So in the end we have to consider the land route. Yunshu left Muai village directly after finishing the checkpoint, and then returned to Douluo world. Anyway, everyone's focus was on the Chunin exam at this time, and no one noticed that Yunshu left, except for the 1-year gatekeeper. The plot of Douluo world will not be written here. Some people say that it is not appropriate to go back and forth between the two sides, so in the future, after passing through each world, write it directly, and then come back, and then write Douluo after Naruto. More than a month later, when the final competition of the Chunin exam was approaching, Yunshu also rushed back from Douluo world. You are the one that Kakashi brought. Didn't you leave last time? The Wanyan gate god duo finally changed, and today they are guarding the Konoha gate. Looking at Yunshu, he said in surprise. Leaving for a trip, you can't miss the last Chunin exam. Yunshu said with a smile. Are you also here to watch the Chunin exam? Then you can go in after registering. Yamashiro Aoba suddenly changed his face when he heard that Yunshu was coming to watch the Chunin exam, and then handed Yunshu a piece of paper registration form. Okay. After filling out the form and returning it to Kingai in the mountain city, Yunshu walked into the long-lost Muayan village again. Sure enough, such a big village can't be unaware of everything. After Yunshu came in, he sensed a figure following him in the dark. It seems that Konoha is not as unbearable as it is shown in the anime, and the two characters of the same foot and Yamashiro Aoba have only slightly sensed Yunshu's purpose from Yunshu's words. Although they made a mistake, Yunshu the tree really wanted to be detrimental to Konoha, but it had nothing to do with the Chunin exam. Then the ninja who secretly followed Yunshu probably also wanted to kill Yunshu by surprise at the moment when Yunshu was really exposed. It's a pity. Good idea. Where is the last Konoha Chunin exam? Yunshu stood alone on the street and looked at this bustling village and was suddenly stunned. Lying on the grass, I forgot to ask before leaving last time. Yunshu was speechless in his heart. Helpless, Yunshu could only start to inquire about the location of the Chunin exam on the street. Yunshu reckoned that the ninja staring at him from behind would think he was an idiot. As a troublemaker, he didn't even know where his mission was. After finally inquiring about the location, Yunshu rushed there non-stop. After all, it was a competition, so there were so many ninjutsu waiting for him to copy. When Yunshu arrived at the arena, he found that there was no one there. Could it be that it hasn't started yet? Yunshu touched his chin, the corners of his mouth slightly raised. It seemed that he came just in time. Mr. Shu. At this moment, a shout sounded in Yunshu's ear. Although there was a lot of noise on the field, Yunshu found the direction of the sound at a glance. Sakura. Yunshu hurried over. Why have you disappeared for more than a month? Sasuke-kun had a hard time looking for you. Sakura asked puzzled. Sorry. I couldn't contact you when you took the exam, so I left for a while. Yunshu scratched the back of his head and said with a smile. Sakura, could this be? Ino looked at Yunshu, then looked at Sakura, covered his mouth and let out a wretched laugh. He's the one Sasuke asked from Mr. Tomo last time, and he helped our Uchiha tree in the country of Nami. Sakura explained to the three in a cacho beside him. Nay. Are you and Sasuke really of the same family? Ino suddenly approached Yunshu and asked. I'm not very clear about this, but I also have Uchiha's Sharingan. Yunshu thought to himself that Sarutobi Hiruzen is going to die today anyway, so this matter can be said. As for whether Kakashi reported his Sharingan, Yunshu didn't care. Then he must be of the same family as Sasuke-kun, so Sasuke-kun won't be alone. Ino said happily. Yunshu, after co-authoring so much, you are just worried that ZUOSUZ is too lonely. How's the game going? When will it start? Yunshu didn't want to push them any further, so he began to ask when the game started. The game has already started. It's just that Sasuke didn't come, so the game is temporarily postponed. Sakura said slowly. What? The game is almost over? Yunshu said in shock. This is a loss of million. What's the end? Sasuke-kun hasn't come yet. Sakura said doubtfully. Don't care about these details. Yunshu said a little bit like crying. He lost a lot now. But having said that, Sasuke's game is highly anticipated. After all, most of the people present came to watch the game because of the name of Uchiha. Yunshu thought to himself while looking at the already agitated audience. These people have waited for so long and haven't waited for Sasuke to appear on the stage, and they already seem a little impatient. Bang! At this moment, a puff of smoke suddenly appeared on the field, and the smoke cleared, and it was Sasuke Uchiha who appeared on the stage. End of this chapter. Chapter 83 Crazy Copy. Finally come. Yunshu looked at Sasuke on the field with a smile on his lips. In the auditorium, everyone started to cheer after seeing Sasuke appearing on the stage. Is Gaara's control of the sand a blood succession limit or a secret technique? Yunshu looked at Gaara catching the sand of Sasuke-kun and thought to himself, and then opened the writing of the three-hook jade wheel I started copying directly and blatantly. Is this unconscious? Yunshu narrowed his eyes. The outermost layer of sand should be the remaining power of my love Luo's mother Jiraiya Luo. This force has been controlling this part of the sand to protect my love Luo, so this ability cannot be replicated at all. Well, Sasuke is a copy of Zaioli's taijutsu. It's okay. I can also learn from Lion Her at that time. Yunshu nodded and copied the taijutsu that Sasuke is currently using. After all, this kind of physical technique is also unique in Douluo world. After all, this physical technique is purely to use all parts of the body to attack, and the fighting method in Douluo world is generally to fight with the body and martial soul. Zaioli's violent attack method is definitely very powerful in the soul fighting arena, especially by Ulyanhua and Lilianhua. People in the world of Naruto generally have low physical fitness, so it is necessary to open the 8 gates Dungia to release the chakra restrictions in the body and use it to increase the speed and strength of the body. Of course, this kind of restriction also has very powerful sequelae, so Bamandungia is listed as a forbidden technique. But Yunshu is not that troublesome. Although his destructive power is not as great as the ninjutsu in the Naruto world for the time being, his current physical fitness can definitely beat all human beings in this world except Otsutsuki's family. Moreover, the improvement of soul power strengthens the body in an all-round way, and there is no need to destroy one's body at all. Learning how to learn the 8 sects of Dungia. Think about it in the future in the soul fighting arena. Yunshu, as a control type soul master, uses soul skills to control the enemy and then uses Li Lianhua up. Moreover, he is not a defensive or fleshy soul master, and he must rely on the blessing of his ancestors to survive. Sand ninjutsu can be copied. On the field, Gaara has already started to control the sand to attack Sasuke. After all, Galio's remaining power is only used to protect Gaara, and Gaara has to control the sand to attack, if he wants to attack. Beautiful, Yunshu said with satisfaction watching the game on the field. After all, he copied 2 more useful abilities just now, but he didn't know that the Taijounin behind him was staring at his back with squinted eyes, thinking about something. The sudden disappearance and reappearance of Yunshu has aroused Kakashi's suspicion, and it is a bit intriguing that Yunshu actually came back at the critical moment when Orochimaru appeared in Konoha, which made Kakashi wondered if Yunshu was a spy sent by Orochimaru. After all, only Orochimaru, a pervert in Konoha, likes to study the mysteries of the human body and the golden Sharingan. Maybe it is a new species that Orochimaru has recently researched, so he was specially sent to Konoha to test it. Mr. Shu, come here. Kakashi smiled and waved towards Yunshu. His wretched appearance was like a strange sorghum seducing a little friend. At this time, Yunshu had just copied Gaara's Sandai. Is there something wrong with Kakashi-san? Yunshu was stunned for a moment, and after confirming that he should not reveal any intentions, he looked at Kakashi suspiciously and said he knew that Kakashi would only look like this when he had something bad in his heart. Don't ask why he is smiling, but Yunshu thinks there is something wrong with him, because Yunshu has seen this expression countless times. It's not good. Kakashi-sensei. At this moment, Naruto and Shikamaru suddenly ran over and said to Kakashi anxiously, Kakashi-sensei, stop this game. That guy is different from us. Naruto looked at Gaara on the field and still had some lingering fears. The scene of Gaara killing people in the tunnel just now made Naruto feel that if the game didn't end, Sasuke might be killed by him on the field. Don't worry, Uchiha is not as simple as you think. Yunshu smiled slightly. Although Gaara has Shukaku, the match will be completely over once Shukaku comes out. So what Yunshu said was completely farting. He was just delaying time. After all, in terms of combat ability now, no matter how you look at it, Gaara is stronger, with sand ninjutsu floating in the air, perfectly restraining any fancy skills of Sasuke, and it can also rain sand and rain from time to time. Sasuke can't dodge it. Since I'm not sure whether Kakashi is staring at me, I have to delay the time anyway. Let Orochimaru and the others do it first, so that Kakashi's eyes will be attracted by Sand Shinobi, and I just have to wait for Sarutobi Hiruzen hang up and start the plan officially, and it will be okay. Moreover, Kakashi's eye is also Yunshu's goal. After all, only by getting this eye can he easily deal with the power of Uchiha Runto, who made Yunshu not have 6,000 billion detonating symbols. Oh, there is a situation. Yunshu pretended to exclaim, and directed the attention of the few people to the field in front of them again. Sasuke's previous waves of attacks were ineffective against the big sand ball in front of him. The opponent was too hard, and needed more powerful piercing skills. Then Sasuke jumped back a few times to the edge of the arena, and jumped up again. His next ninjutsu required a long sprint to complete. Now is not the time to talk about these things. Naruto didn't understand very much. He only knew that Gaara was very dangerous. Very dangerous. Shut up and watch that guy's performance. We are not late for nothing. Kakashi shouted, stopping Naruto's thoughts of continuing to speak. Chidori. Yunshu thought to himself. This technique is actually Reikiri, but Kakashi has already mastered this technique so much that he no longer needs to rely on thrusting. K will say later, in the end, the whole hand will become a precious sword that cuts iron like mud. The general meaning is Chidori's sublimation to Reikiri, and there is no need for Yunshu to copy this ninjutsu again. After all, his body speed allows him to use Leaky with terrifying piercing and cutting power. This is the hanging ratio. Oh. Hang this hang. Yunshu said excitedly, after seeing Sasuke's action, and copied it by the way. Use lightning chakra to strengthen the body, activate the body, and bring more powerful speed and strength. End of this chapter. Chapter 84 Pupil Art. Accompanied by the chirping of countless birds, Sasuke turned into a flash of lightning, and rushed towards Gaara's absolute defense. Chidori. Bunkai! Exclamation mark. Chidori Inzeduo's assistant not only broke Gaara's absolute defense, but even wounded Gaara inside. At this moment, the sky suddenly rained feathers. Are you going to make a move? Should I pretend to be dizzy? No, I'm using Sharingan, and illusions don't work for me. It would be too suspicious to faint at this time. Yunshu thought to himself, and then pretended to be shocked. He turned his head back to look at Kakashi and the others, but at this moment, Yunshu just saw the pocket that released the illusion at the diagonally above, and Yunshu copied this illusion without thinking. They also seemed to realize what was going on, but it was too late. The illusion had already been activated, except for the two of them, Sakura, Shikamaru, and some Chunin and Tokyuzan. The rest of the ordinary people almost all fell asleep. What's the situation? Yunshu exclaimed, and quickly separated the relationship, although he had nothing to do with him in the first place. Be careful. Yunshu kicked away a sand ninja who was killing Sakura. What's the matter? Sakura asked in shock as she saw the ninja who suddenly attacked. Although I don't know what happened, but what is certain is that these guys will definitely come and kill us. Yunshu looked at the fainted sand ninja and said lightly, bang. At this time, there was another loud noise at the location of the double shadow. Master Hokage. Everyone looked at where Hokage was in shock. I saw that Sarutobi Hiruzen was suddenly hijacked by Kazekage and then brought to the roof. I'm going to save people. Seeing this situation, Yunshu hastily followed. The next 4 purple flame array is a good thing, and it needs to be copied. Although it is not as powerful as the 4-red sun formation, the requirements for the 4-red sun formation are too high. It needs 4 cage level high schools to perform it. The 4 purple flame formation and fortune level chakras are enough. Yunshu can separate the shadow clone to use this main defensive enchantment. Kakashi glanced at Yunshu who was running towards Hokage and said to K before he had time. The tacit understanding between the two is already full, and Kakashi only needs to look at K to understand. Leave it to me. K showed a mouthful of white teeth and instantly kicked away Otonin next to him and followed Yunshu. They were worried about Yunshu, thinking that Yunshu might be detrimental to Hokage-sama. When Yunshu came here, he happened to see Yunai and the other 4 releasing the 4 purple flame formations. Ignoring Yunshu, he bluntly copied this enchantment. What is this? Yunshu pretended to reach out to touch the barrier. Stop. At this moment, Kei and the rest of Anbu who rushed over quickly stopped Yunshu's hand that continued to extend forward. Don't touch it. This is an enchantment technique. You will be burned if you touch it. Although Kei had doubts about Yunshu, it was just suspicion. Before there was no conclusive evidence, he didn't want anything to happen to Yunshu. After all, Yunshu was brought back by Kakashi, and even if he wanted to deal with it, he should hand it over to Kakashi deal with. Can't you get in? Yunshu scratched his head, then felt that his words seemed somewhat ambiguous, so he stopped talking. Because he who wants to enter the enchantment at this time does not necessarily want to save people. Maybe he wants to help Orochimaru kill the 3rd Hokage. Because of this, Yunshu closed his mouth and watched quietly. I can't help here for the time being, boy. Come help Kakashi with me. Kei saw that Anbu was guarding here, and the Sizzy Yang formation really couldn't get in, so he wanted to take Yunshu to Kakashi. Cass's side. Okay, no problem. Yunshu thought to himself, just going back to copy Kakashi's spiritism. Yunshu remembered that Kakashi would summon Parker later to help Naruto and the others track Sasuke. K. Who are you? Kakashi had just released the mission and asked Naruto and the others to leave. Who knew that Yunshu would come back at this time? Hokage-sama has Anbu to deal with it. I brought the Uchiha boy here to help. K gave a thumbs up and showed Kakashi his big white teeth. Mr. Shu, Naruto, Sasuke and the others have already left here. I don't know whether you are under Orochimaru or if you have any intentions to harm Konoha, but you'd better tell me one by one now, otherwise I can only kill you here. Kakashi opened his forehead, revealing Brother Runto's Sharingan. After all, the only one who can deal with Sharingan is Sharingan. TCH. Already gone. You can almost copy spiritism from Kakashi. Yunshu didn't speak, but thought to himself. Hey, Kakashi. Have you been able to confirm that the Uchiha boy is the enemy? Kei looked at Kakashi a little at a loss. Just now, Yunshu didn't feel like an enemy to him, but was somewhat similar to Zaioli. His body was full of youth and passion. Although I'm not % sure, but you definitely have a problem. Kakashi looked at Yunshu and said solemnly. Hey, as expected of Hatake Kakashi, he has a very keen sense. Yunshu didn't intend to continue pretending at this time. Kakashi already noticed that something was wrong, and there was no point in pretending any longer. Sure enough. You are Orochimaru's subordinate? Kakashi breathed a sigh of relief, but quickly brought it up again. No, it has nothing to do with him. I just came here purely for Sharingan. Yunshu looked at Kakashi and said lightly, and then opened his exclusive kaleidoscope, the golden four-cornered windmill. It is somewhat similar to Uchiha Shizu's kaleidoscope, but the pattern of Shizu has no hooks, while Yunshu's kaleidoscope has barbs at all four corners. Perhaps because of the similar patterns, Yunshu's kaleidoscope pupil technique, like Zishu, belongs to the illusion department, but the effect of Yunshu's Sharingan is completely different from that of Zishu. Ryozuna is more than ancient. After this pupil technique is activated, as long as the target Yunshu who has looked at each other can eliminate all the attack intentions of the opponent towards him, that is to say, the person he has seen, can be eliminated within a certain period of time. It is impossible to shoot at yourself. What Sharingan is this? Kakashi said in shock, after looking at Yunshu's golden kaleidoscope. What's the matter, Kakashi? K subconsciously glanced this way after hearing Yunshu's voice. His body is very strong and healthy, so he didn't bleed when he used the pupil technique. It's alright now. Now the two of them can't attack Yunshu for the time being. Since Yunshu has never used this pupil technique, it is not yet known how long the effect of this pupil technique can last, which means that he must hurry up. End of this chapter. Chapter 85. It happened. Kakashi himself found that he couldn't make a move on Yunshu, and he couldn't even move at all. Hey, Kakashi, what's going on? Why can't I move? K hadn't found out what happened. Is this your ability to mutate Sharingan? Kakashi looked at Yunshu in shock. At this stage, Kakashi has not yet understood the level of kaleidoscope. Although he opened kaleidoscope when he was very young, the first it was only discovered after 3 years of use. The effect of sparing life is reflected here. If you want to do something to yourself, you will directly fall into the predicament of being unable to act. This effect is unsolvable like other gods, but it only has a duration, unless you have a retreat in your heart. Only then can the action be resumed, and then start to escape. TSK, why don't you just let me keep pretending? You have to get to the bottom of it, don't you? Ask something. Yunshu shook his head and started to walk towards Kakashi. He wanted to close Obito's eyes come out, and this I can't absorb it for the time being. The Kami Sharingan is full, otherwise Obito will be lawless. Uchiha Tree, did you come here specially for this Sharingan? Or, Kakashi had an ominous premonition in his heart. Well, do you think I will tell this kind of thing to your enemy? Don't be stupid, but in fact, you should have guessed it if I didn't say this kind of thing. If you can help me get the 11, bring me a Sharingan, and I will tell you about Obito Uchiha. Secretly tell you, this guy's not dead yet. Yunshu raised his eyebrows and smiled, then walked in front of Kakashi, reach out and gouge out Uchiha Obito's left eye. Ah. Kakashi let out a scream due to the severe pain, but since Kakashi and K are relatively straightforward, the more they are in this situation, the less they will shrink back, so the effect of life saving still restricts them from being able to action. Yunshu, who got Sharingan, is no longer nostalgic here, and next, it will be Sasuke Uchiha. For persimmons, we have to pick the soft ones, and get rid of the most delicate ones first. Anyway, Sasuke's life is fine, and he will be used to threaten the upcoming Uchiha Itachi. For Itachi, who values his younger brother's life more than anything else, Yunshu doesn't believe that Itachi will do it for 2 blind Sharingans and give up his brother's life. Why do I feel like I'm getting worse? Yunshu muttered. He put Obito Sharingan into a container filled with formalin, and then put it into the system space so that it was safe. Indeed, doing bad things everywhere in order to increase strength is no different from some villains. Let me be healthy. A group of chakras have passed to the west. It seems that this is where it is. Yunshu narrowed his eyes. Since he was exposed, he stopped pretending, opened his wings, and took off directly from Woohoo. In less than a minute, Yunshu saw the people running below, but Yunshu didn't pay attention to it. Now that he had lost his face, there was no need for Yunshu to help them anymore, so Yunshu started to speed up, heading towards the farther distance, flying in the direction, intending to catch up with Sasuke and Gaara. About 2 minutes later, Yunshu saw Temari staggeringly beaten by Sasuke below. At this time, he was chasing where Sasuke was going. She is a ninja. Since she is not dead, the mission is to continue. Yo. Yunshu landed and greeted Temari. You are? Tiju saw Yunshu and really couldn't remember who this person was for a while. You look familiar. Are you from Konoha? Are you here to take my life? Temari smiled dryly. She had no strength to fight anymore after being injured by the detonating talisman, so even if this person came to take her life, she was also powerless to resist. No, I'm Konoha's enemy. Do you need me to take you for a ride? Yunshu smiled slightly, stretched out his hand and said, since he found Temari, it means that he is not far from Gaara and Sasuke. Don't be in a hurry to fly over. Isn't it nice for him to hold his sister? Thank you for your kindness, but I can't. I'm not too weak to move. Temari rejected Yunshu without hesitation. Well then, let's make a deal. You teach me psychic skills, and I'll help your brother. Yunshu suddenly remembered that Temari also seems to be able to psychic skills, and her Kametachi is Feng Dan, and psychic skills combination of techniques. Psychic art. But Tiju was a little confused. Learning psychic art at this time. By the time you learn it, my brother will have been reincarnated a long time ago. Don't worry, I have Sharingan, which can be copied, and learn psychic skills directly. You just need to tell me how to use it. Yunshu said with a smile, and opened his own golden 3 Jade Sharingan by the way. Sharingan? Didn't you say you are Konoha's enemy? Temari said in shock, after seeing Yunshu's Sharingan. What's the problem? Uchiha Itachi is also Konoha's enemy. Doesn't he also have Sharingan? Yunshu said helplessly. Why would it be so difficult to learn spiritism? Don't worry, if I have any bad intentions, you will be dead already. Can you still talk to me here? Yunshu urged. Temari. Well, I hope you can do what you say. Temari took a deep look at Yunshu, saying that she was not worried about Gaara's situation. It must be a lie. Temari is a sensible person like Itachi at a very young age. Gaara is not only her younger brother, but also Sanjin's ultimate weapon, and its importance is self-evident. After Tiju finished speaking, he began to make seals immediately. Heizuyu Shenwei. This is a technique of making seals. As for the depiction of the blood contract spell, let me draw it for you. After Temari finished speaking, he took out a handful of kunai and began to draw symbols on the ground. All these so-called mantras were copied. Okay, I will test the accuracy of spiritism later. If you deceive me, I will treat your hidden sand village the same way Itachi treats his own people. Yunshu closed the writing wheel and said with a smile, while looking at Temari out of some creepy words. What a strange guy. Tiju lay in Yunshu's arms and looked at Yunshu's side face and thought to herself. She had just changed her mind after teaching Yunshu the psychic and asked Yunshu to take him with him. She went over and her younger brother didn't bother Yunshu anymore. Temari was not frightened by Yunshu's threat because what she taught was the correct spiritism. Bugs. What an uncomfortable guy. Yunshu saw that there were suddenly more bugs nearby, which meant that the disgusting guy Shino had arrived, and he was probably bullying Kankuro with Sasuke now. End of this chapter. Chapter 86 The Power of Indra. Yunshu suffers from trypophobia, and when he sees the bugs all over Zhinneo's body, his scalp becomes numb and his body gets goosebumps. It seems that your brothers are not in a good situation. Yunshu said with a smile. Insects. Is it Konoha's worms? The your own clan? Temari said in shock, after seeing the overwhelming swarm of insects nearby. It should be, he should have fought with your brother. Yunshu nodded. Is it possible that Gaara has already awakened? Yunshu remembered that Temari should have chased him in the original book, and then took Gaara away, leaving Kankuro and Shino to fight. Let's go. I don't like being with bugs. Yunshu said lightly, shaking his whole body, while holding his hand. Oh, I didn't expect you to have something to be afraid of, Temari teased. Shut up, or I'll throw you down. Yunshu didn't respond, but said threateningly. Teacher covered his mouth with one hand and snickered. Your brother has turned into a monster. Yunshu squinted his eyes and saw Gaara, who had turned into a half-tailed beast in the distance, confronting Sasuke. What? Could it be that he plans to wake up here? Temari said in shock, ignoring any village secrets. Put me down. Temari broke free from Yunshu's embrace and hurried towards Gaara nervously. You better leave now. Otherwise you will definitely die. Temari stopped suddenly and said to Yunshu. If you have time to worry about me, you might as well think about your brother. Yunshu remembered that Gaara was killed by Naruto for 1,000 years later, and he still used the Kunai plus detonation talisman. And I came here specifically for Sasuke. Yunshu came to the scene where the two were confronting each other. Uchiha Tree. What are you doing here? This is my battle. Sasuke said coldly after seeing Yunshu. Another one. Come on. Let me enjoy it. Gaara said excitedly, looking at Yunshu with his mouth full of laughter. Pause for a while. You should sleep first. Yunshu secretly activated his martial soul, then raised his hand and shot Gaara with a flower blade. Is that all there is to it? It's useless. Haha. Gaara, who is half human and half monster, just wanted to laugh out loud when he saw a strange dart the size of Kune stuck in his body. As soon as he opened his mouth, he was controlled and fell asleep. What? Actually killed that monster slash Gaara with a single blow. Sasuke and Temari were shocked at the same time. Hey. Sasuke, long time no see. Yunshu said while looking at Sasuke with a smile. What on earth are you trying to do? Sasuke said while looking at Yunshu with a sullen face. He could see that this guy was just pretending to be stupid all the time, and he was always playing house-like games with them, even though he had such great strength. It's nothing. I just want to take away your useless eyes. Yunshu didn't use Ryo-Za Chinadobi Guming to restrain Sasuke. Even if he used Hitomi to destroy the whole clan, he could only angrily open a piece of trash. He will still run away because of fear, so it doesn't matter whether he uses the pupil technique or not. It's better to save some energy in his body. What the hell are you talking about? Sasuke yelled angrily. Swish! Exclamation mark. Yunshu appeared in front of Sasuke with the instant body technique, and then reached out to touch Sasuke's eyes. Forgive me, Sasuke. Yunshu said, imitating Itachi's tone, and then snapped Uchiha Sasuke's eyes out so abruptly. Ah. Sasuke was stunned for a while by the severe pain of gouging his eyes, before he let out a tragic howl. Yunshu took out a Sharingan fruit, and fed it to Sasuke's mouth to stop the bleeding, then slapped Sasuke unconscious, and then he will exchange Sasuke for Itachi's eyes. He can't die yet, anyway. Naruto World can transplant eyes for people. Itachi would be happy to exchange Sasuke for his medical ninjutsu. You, who the hell are you? Temari said, having never seen such a tragic battle before, looking at Yunshu in horror. Yunshu saved Sasuke's eyes and put them into the system space. There are already 3 Sharingans. Yunshu plans to wait until all the Sharingans are collected before starting to absorb them. If the will is advanced, wouldn't he be kicked out of this world directly by the system? Don't worry, I'm not interested in you guys. Yunshu looked back at Temari and smiled, but this smile looked a bit permeable in Temari's eyes. I think Sarutobi Hiruzen is about to die at this time. Anyway, it has been exposed, so let's go back and find Danzo. Yunshu thought for a while. Anyway, he didn't know the location of Itachi, so it's better to put this. It's easy to find. At least the guys at Konoha can handle it. As for that guy Uchiha Obito, Yunshu narrowed his eyes. That guy's not easy to deal with. Yunshu has to find a trustworthy person to transplant Obito's left eye that was deducted from Kakashi first. Use this Kamu came to threaten Obito, and by the way, he also blackmailed more Sharingan from Obito. Forget it. I will talk about the matter of bringing soil later. Maybe it can be done with other gods. Yunshu thought to himself, the current problem is to deal with Danzo as soon as possible. Yunshu is not in charge of the sisters and brothers, but is flying with Sasuke at full strength. He must control Sasuke before he can go to Konoha. After all, Sasuke is also a bargaining chip for him to threaten Itachi. If it falls into Konoha's hands here, what else would he use to threaten Itachi? After finding a hidden place to control Sasuke, Yunshu began to fly to Konoha at full speed, and he was about to start doing things. Since Konoha is still in battle, Yunshu easily sneaked back into Konoha. Anbu. Yunshu thought to himself, it is useless to hypnotize Genbu. The people in Genbu not only have curse seals on them that make them unable to tell about Danzo, but they must have been trained to commit suicide if they are in danger. So Yunshu had to find someone from Anbu to hypnotize him. Anbu is not so complicated. The ninjas in Anbu are actually the same as ordinary ninjas. You can understand it when you look at Kakashi and Itachi. Both of them have been in Anbu. Did someone deliver it so soon? Or is the other party just a perception ninja? A smile appeared on the corner of Yunshu's mouth. In his perception, a ninja was rushing towards him quickly. Not surprisingly, he should have sensed the strange energy in Yunshu's body. Uchiha Tree, what is your purpose for coming to Konoha? Unexpectedly, the person who came was Kakashi, who had an eyeball taken out by him before. Where is Sasuke? What did you do to them? Kakashi's only remaining eye stared at Yunshu, but what he saw was Yunshu's feet. It seemed that Kei had already dealt with Uchiha as the secret technique was passed on to Kakashi. That's right, just don't look you in the eye. Kei, I'm such a genius. End of this chapter. Chapter 87 Ambush. The pupil art of the Uchiha illusion system requires eye contact, or the caster must see the opponent's eyes to use it. So since you know that the opponent's pupil art is an illusion art, then as long as you avoid eye contact it can invalidate the opponent's illusion. Kei, I'm such a genius! Exclamation mark. Uchiha tree. What did you do to Sasuke? Kakashi already knew about Yunshu's pupil technique, so although he was very angry now, he didn't dare to stare into Yunshu's eyes. When he had Sharingan, he couldn't even play Sharingan. Now there is no Sharingan. I couldn't even look at Yunshu anymore. Yo. Kakashi. It's just in time. Yunshu said in surprise after seeing Kakashi. This master must know where Danzo is, so it will save much trouble, now that he only needs to take Kakashi down. Where's Sasuke? Kakashi repeated coldly with a gloomy face. For Kakashi, Naruto and Sasuke Sakura are his companions, and Naruto is his teacher's son, the village's ultimate weapon. Sasuke is the last clan member of his friend Obito. If something happened to them, Kakashi would never forgive himself. Don't worry, Sasuke just fell asleep, and I won't attack him. On the contrary, I will try my best to save his life. As for Naruto, that has nothing to do with me. I didn't touch him. Yunshu looks like a good old man. How can he still need the cooperation of others to find Danzo? If he doesn't know, he will think Yunshu is a good man. Are you trying to threaten Itachi with Sasuke? Kakashi asked suddenly. Guess what? Yunshu didn't answer. He was not a fool. He couldn't relax his vigilance against the enemy before he became invincible. Anyone who answers this question is cerebral palsy. Okay, that's the end of the gossip. Are you ready? Yunshu opened his Sharingan. Spiritualism, the art of crushing vendors. A loud voice sounded above Yunshu's head. A huge toad suddenly appeared in the sky above Yunshu's head and fell down at a high speed, trying to press Yunshu under him. No wonder you are the only one who came here alone, so it was to attract my attention. Yunshu was only surprised when he saw Jiraiya and showed no other expressions. Susanoo. Yunshu didn't procrastinate and directly activated the ultimate power lodged in Shilunayan, Susanoo. If such a big toad is cut open, Yunshu's huge Susanoo suddenly appeared in the hand of a huge chakra-shaped longsword and slashed at the toad above his head. Wash the motor, Kakashi said in shock when he saw this scene. Since the toad summoned by the crushing vendor technique fell from the sky, it has no ability to move and dodge at all, so it can only be killed if it falls and is stabbed by such a big sword. If it just disappears like this, then the toad on top of his head Jiraiya will also directly face the 30-meter long sword of Yunshu Susanoo. Master Jiraiya, get out of the way. Kakashi yelled at Jiraiya in the air. Nani? Jiraiya didn't see Yunshu's Susanoo because the huge toad below blocked his view, but after hearing Kakashi's words, he still reacted and sent the toad back Mount Miyagi. What is this? After the toad disappeared, Jiraiya said in shock after seeing the huge golden skull monster. Haha, try Kakashi's unique skill. Millennium Kill. Yunshu didn't care about the toad's disappearance. After all, his target wasn't the toad. Come also below. Jiraiya. Kakashi. Boom. Exclamation mark. Another puff of smoke dissipated, and Jiraiya in the air also disappeared. TCH. Have you been psychized by those stinky toads? Yunshu said with some displeasure. Although Jiraiya didn't see Susanoo just now, the toads did point. Although it didn't feel like hitting the mosquito with a cannon, at least the mosquito was eliminated. Now that the mosquito has run away, I don't know when it will fly back and buzz in his ears. Okay, the clown has already left. I don't have time to mess around with you anymore. Yunshu came to Kakashi in an instant and punched Kakashi. Boom. Hiss, what a powerful force. Kakashi, who blocked the punch and was knocked back a few meters, said in shock with trembling arms. This punch can be said to have directly broken both of his arms. Yunshu followed up again, grabbed Kakashi by the throat, raised his head, and looked at him with Sharingan, hypnotizing him directly. Tell me the roots, where is Danzo's lair? Kakashi, what should we do? This time the opponent is so strong that even my 8 Dodungia can't deal with it. K, who helped Kakashi bandage his eyes, looked at Kakashi and said a little depressed, not afraid that the opponent is too strong. Now it is impossible to shoot him. The 8-door Dungeon cannot be used as a sneak attack. When it is opened, the huge chakra burst out. Even a muggle would know what happened. Isn't this clearly telling others that I'm coming to get you? Only one pupil technique was exposed. They didn't even know what Yunshu was good at. Naruto World was all about intelligence. Of course Madara and Hashiramas to comparisons didn't count. Master Hokage was entangled by Orochimaru, and now only that person can help us. Kakashi covered his bleeding eyes and looked at the giant toad not far away and said with a complicated expression, "Is that Jiraiya-sama of Sannin?" Although K is not familiar with him, Sannin is the most powerful group of ninjas in his village after all, and his popularity is still very high. Kakashi was carried by K to Jiraiya's place like this, and was carried by a muscular brother. Although Kakashi was reluctant in every possible way, he had no choice but to make him a wounded person. "Kakashi, is it Orochimaru?" Jiraiya said in shock when he saw Kakashi's bleeding left eye. In his impression, there should be no one in Konoha except Hokage. It is even stronger. If it is said that Kakashi can be injured like this, it is estimated that only Orochimaru who invaded Konoha recently has this strength. After all, it is impossible for Hokage to attack his own family for no reason. The thing is like this. Kakashi told Jiraiya about Yunshu's situation. Due to time constraints, he only told Jiraiya Yunshu's pupil technique information. Besides, their understanding of Yunshu, that's all there is to it. End of this chapter. Chapter 88 Seal. So that's the case. The special Sharingan makes you unable to move. If nothing else, it should be the kaleidoscope and the Uchiha legend. Jiraiya touched his chin and said, "Kaleidoscopic Sharingan?" K and Kakashi looked at each other and said doubtfully, "That is Uchiha's strongest pupil technique." It is said that Uchiha Madara, who founded Konoha village together with the first generation of Naruto, has these eyes. But having said that, isn't the Uchiha clan exterminated? Why is there an extra Uchiha tree? Jiraiya wondered. Then Kakashi told him about the encounter with Yunshu from the Kingdom of Waves. "So that's it. It looks like you are involved in Uchiha's troubles," Jiraiya said helplessly. "From my conversation with that Uchiha tree, I learned that Elder Danzo seems to have 11 Sharingans transplanted on his body, so the Uchiha tree will definitely return to Konoha again." Kakashi had already "I don't care why Danzo has 11 Sharingan on his body." In his eyes, Danzo is not even as good as his dog Parker. After all, Parker is also equivalent to his partner, and Danzo commanded Yamato to assassinate Hokage. Kakashi had lost all respect for that old guy a long time ago. Even if they met, it was just a faking. 11 Sharingans were transplanted. That old man is really a troublesome guy, Jiraiya said in shock after hearing Kakashi's words. He thought Yunshu wrote, because of Danzo's transplant. It is only the Wheel Eyes that can be so hostile towards them. Point of course, this is purely his overthinking. So, in order to prevent the Uchiha tree from invading Konoha again, we may have to prepare in advance, Kakashi said seriously. Indeed, but it seems troublesome not to be able to meet his eyes. Jiraiya also scratched the back of his head and muttered. Many ninjutsu can't predict the opponent's actions and launch an attack just by looking at their feet. K can apply this operation because he only uses body skills, so he can fight Itachi, and Kakashi and Jiraiya also mainly fight, relying on ninjutsu. That's right. I have a solution, Jiraiya also said with a hammer on his palm. We are like this. Sure enough, Kakashi knows the location of the route. Yunshu asked Kakashi where the route was, but it's really surprising that Gen's headquarters is actually in that place. Yunshu thought to himself. He thought that such a shameful organization as Gen was hidden very deeply. Yunshu used the transformation technique to change into the appearance of an ordinary villager and walked in Konoha village. Because some Anbu had seen Yunshu's appearance before, he changed into this appearance only to avoid unnecessary troubles. After walking for about half an hour, I also met many Anbu on the way, but it may be because the village has just been invaded. These Anbu and Yunshu just passed by, and they didn't seem to see Yunshu's camouflage. I didn't expect to be able to get here so easily. It's really a bit strange. Yunshu held back for a long time and popped out such a sentence. He always felt that there was something strange here, but he couldn't tell what was so strange. I should be suspicious. Yunshu squinted his eyes and started to walk down. The bottom is where the roots are. Sealing technique. Reseal the limbs. Suddenly, his arm stretched out from the darkness, and he slapped Yunshu's right arm with the palm. Zileyi. Yunshu said in surprise. He didn't expect to meet Zileyi here. So that's it. Then all the strange things before make sense. Yunshu was stunned for a moment, and then said slowly. Jiraiya, who has the immortal mode, is no less powerful than Hiruzaru Sarutobi, but facing him, Susanoo almost ran away without a fight, which is very strange. Plus those who hurried past him, before it turned out that it wasn't that they didn't see through Yunshu, but they had been watching him to ensure that he could reach this place. So, that means Kakashi wasn't hypnotized? Yunshu said slowly. No. Kakashi was indeed hypnotized, but we guessed your destination, based on what you said to him before, so we laid an ambush in advance. Jiraiya looked at Yunshu and said seriously. Oh, you don't think you can defeat me with just a sealing technique, do you? Yunshu looked at the strange black spell on his arm. Resealing limbs is a sealing technique that seals the opponent's strength. For Yunshu, even without the use of power, Jiraiya cannot defeat himself. Of course it's not that simple, do it. Jiraiya also suddenly shouted. Sealing technique, a string of lights. Sealing technique 3-party seal. Sealing technique 4 purple flame formation. In just a few seconds, 3 consecutive seals completely restricted Yunshu's movements. Good boy. What a great handwriting. Yunshu clapped his hands and exclaimed. In order to deal with him, he summoned so many masters who can use the sealing technique in less than an hour. Moreover, in such a dark place, Yunshu's Sharingan effect is not convenient outside. The light here is too dim, and he is still in the center of the sealing technique light source, so it is almost completely dark outside. As expected of Jiraiya, this not only blocked my actions, but also made my Sharingan useless. Yunshu praised. The resealing of the limbs weakened Yunshu's mobility, and a string of lights would also restrain Yunshu's mobility, plus the 3-party seal and the 4 purple flame array could trap the opponent in the barrier. People, even Kakashi, or Jiraiya himself will be bound to death after so many spells, unable to move at all. I won't be careless. The Kaleidoscope Sharingan, that can compete with the first generation of Hokage will definitely not have only this little power. Jiraiya did not let down his vigilance even so. Well, then let me show you. The real power of Kaleidoscope Sharingan, Doghead. Yunshu raised the corner of his mouth slightly, and then took out a pure heart fruit from the system space, and put it in his mouth. At the moment of the entrance, the 2 sealing techniques restricting Yunshu were instantly lifted, leaving only the 3-party seal and the 4 purple flame formation. Not good. The target has already broken through the second layer of seal. Iruka said in shock, looking at the forcibly disarmed Yuxin light array. Ninjutsu missed hidden dart. Yunshu used this ninjutsu that was copied in the land of waves. Yunshu began to spit out mist continuously from his mouth until the mist filled the entire 3-party seal and began to infiltrate into the 4 purple flame formation from every corner. Rachel. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 89, Copying the Ninjaracha Hakaka Tree. Leaky. Immediately afterwards, Yunshu used the duplicated Leaky to smash the 3 seals. Don't ask Yunshu why he didn't use Susanoo, because the real power of Sharingan is to keep copying other people's ninjutsu. Doghead! Exclamation mark. The 3rd layer of seal has been broken. Even the sealing technique can't trap him? Zille also cursed secretly. Then, this is the only way. Psychicism, the art of binding the mouth of the toad. Jiraiya made a seal with both hands, summoning the stomach wall of the giant toad in Mount Myomu, and locked everyone in it. This is the stomach wall of the giant toad in Yansu, Mount Myomu. No one has ever escaped from this barrier. Jiraiya said confidently. This technique is the strongest barrier technique of Jiraiya. Yunshu didn't want to hit him. Apart from him being able to break the barrier today, Uchiha Itachi, who will come to Konoha in 2 days, can also break his barrier technique, but it's not as easy as Yunshu. The mist overflowing from the 4 purple flame array was quickly absorbed by the stomach wall of the toad, leaving only a pure white inside of the 4 purple flame array, making it difficult to see what was going on inside. Why is there no movement? Is it already resolved? A few ninjas who were still trapping Yunshu with the 4 purple flame formation said doubtfully. No. Impossible. Zile also said quickly, wanting to remind them not to be careless. A long period of silence followed. Although everyone felt that Yunshu had been dealt with, but because Jiraiya did not let down their vigilance, they could only continue to maintain the enchantment, trying to use poisonous gas to kill Yunshu. Give it complete control, but Yunshu is not the brainless Otsutsu Mokura. Illusion, the technique of nirvana abode. When the bodies of the few people outside were already on the verge of collapse due to inhaling the poisonous gas, Yunshu quietly formed the imprint of this large-scale illusion. He was in the mist, and the mist neutralized a lot of toxins, which made him not easy to be poisoned, not to mention that he still had detoxification fruits that he could take at any time. But Yunshu didn't use these abilities, but planned to use Sharingan, and rely on the power of Sharingan to defeat Jiraiya. Thump, thump, exclamation mark. The few people outside who were not in a good state of mind fell down, and fell into a deep sleep. Oops. Jiraiya used the imprint of dispelling the illusion as soon as he saw Feather, but those who used the enchantment were not as lucky as him. Maintaining the enchantment chakra for a long time, as well as his physical strength and spirit, are all gone, so he was directly brought down by Yunshu's illusion. How is it? My Sharingan is no worse than Kakashi's, right? With the release of the 4 purple flame formation, the accumulated mist gradually dissipated, and Yunshu walked out of the mist slowly. Grinning, he also said to Zile, "You said that Danzo guy, you all hate him so much, why are you protecting him? Can't you just hand over the shit stick to me? Isn't it good for everyone?" Yunshu said helplessly. Didn't Konoha's Will of Fire say that young people are the hope of the future, and the older generation should trust and protect them? The sacrifices of the older generation are not meaningless, but will inspire young people to become the pillars of the future. So Danzo's death can be exchanged for Konoha's safety. Shouldn't you be happy? A layer of golden skeleton armor gradually emerged from Yunshu's body. Konoha will never give up on his companions. Jiraiya looked at Yunshu's golden Susanoo and said solemnly, "Yoho. If you want to talk about this, then I have something to say. The whole Uchiha has been wiped out by you, Konoha, and you still have the face to say such a thing." Yunshu said, "That you are so shameless," said in a tone. Jalei also heard a hint of helplessness in his eyes here, but he soon became serious. Maybe the old man was wrong about this matter, but from now on, I will not let Konoha have this situation again. "So you're planning to become Hokage?" Yunshu asked in surprise. He didn't expect that such a mistake would make Jiraiya say that he wanted to be Hokage. Originally, Jiraiya also decided to become Hokage when he heard the news of Sarutobi Hiruzen's death. He knew that the daimyo and the elders would definitely recommend him as the 5th Hokage, but he had no idea about the position of the 5th Hokage. Now, because of Yunshu, a powerful enemy that he had never seen before, he finally resisted this responsibility and planned to be the 5th Hokage. That's right. I will manage Konoha myself and prevent similar incidents from happening forever. Jalei also put away the stomach wall of the big toad in Yansu. Although this can trap Yunshu, it has nothing to do with actually fighting Yunshu. Help, and it will also cause great damage to the stomach wall of the Yansu giant toad. It's better to go back to the previous underground space, which is very empty and suitable for fighting. I'm very relieved that you think so, but this matter has nothing to do with me. Now that it's out, the next thing has nothing to do with you. Yunshu put away the Susanoo and released the forgetfulness grass. Sleeping flower blade. Yunshu raised his hand and several flashes of cold light flashed by. Zile had no time to dodge, so he could only cross his arms to block in front of him. PFFT. Of course, Zile, who was covered in petal darts, couldn't resist, fell down and fell asleep. Danzo, get out of here. I know you're here. Yunshu shouted. He had sensed a few chakras hiding somewhere since he entered the ground, and he seemed to want to wait for Jiraiya to solve it. This matter comes out again. It's really trash, but it's okay. An indifferent voice followed the sound of footsteps, and Danzo's voice gradually appeared in front of Yunshu. Immediately afterwards, 6 ninjas dressed up in Anbu appeared around Yunshu in an instant, and surrounded Yunshu. It seemed that these 6 should be members of Danzo's gen, whose masks had more complicated patterns than Anbu's. Do it. Danzang is also a person who doesn't talk too much. After seeing the root members surrounding Yunshu, he immediately ordered, and began to surround and beat Yunshu. I don't have to hold back against you. Yunshu smiled slightly, and all the attacks of the 6 root members were blocked by a golden light. Yunshu still has some affection for Jiraiya Kakashi and some people. It is okay to bully them, but there is no need to kill them. But Danzo is different. This old Yunbi who has been indirectly destroying Konoha under the banner of Konoha, although destroying Konoha Wuan Tree has nothing to do, but Yunshu has no affection for him at all. Killing him is as stress-free as killing a pig. Sure enough, you also have this kind of evil power. Danzo squinted his eyes, and he had already seen the pattern of Yunshu's eyes. This is not an ordinary Gaoyu, but a unique kaleidoscope Sharingan. Hypocritical. There are always brothers who don't know the life experience of the protagonist, so let me tell you about it here. Since the protagonist finds that his appearance is the same as when he was a child before time travel, the protagonist thinks that he was picked up after his body traveled to this world and changed into his childhood appearance. In fact, the protagonist is not wearing clothes, and wearing them will not directly destroy the world. Doghead. The identity of the protagonist has a lot of background. I have already explained this in the world of Ghost Slayer before. I don't know if anyone can see it. The identity of the protagonist is kept secret first. Anyway, he is not an ordinary person. But in terms of cultivation, the protagonist's body is no different from that of ordinary people. It can be said that he has no soul power, no martial soul. End of this chapter. Chapter 90. Hypocritical. While talking about the evil Uchiha, you are using Uchiha's power at the same time. You are just greedy, and you just want to hold this powerful power in your own hands. Yunshu said unceremoniously. Danzo's character is extremely suspicious, cautious, insidious, and tough. He doesn't trust others, and can't tolerate any possible omissions. He must follow his own ideas before he can rest assured. He also often talks about ninjas must sacrifice themselves, but when it's his turn, he can't do it. What do you know, ignorant brat? The Uchiha clan. After taking over the house, Danzo began to tell the set of rhetoric that the second Hokage once said. However, Yunshu had already seen his intentions and wanted to use other gods to take the opportunity to modify Yunshu's will. Of course, Yunshu would not give him this opportunity and immediately swung the 30-meter long sword in Susanu's hand and chopped it down. Bang! The sound of a huge explosion echoed throughout the underground space. Looks like we have to deal with these miscellaneous soldiers first. Yunshu squinted his eyes. When Sasuke was fighting Zandanzo, Obito helped him deal with Wangyoucao Takijin and Yamaz Hanfeng, so Yunshu could only do it himself. As for Danzo, Yunshu had a vague feeling that the blow didn't kill him, maybe because he saw Yunshu's Maya Jiraiya's powerful strength. He unsealed the Sharingan on his arm in advance and used Ice energy. Konoha King Khan Power Whirlwind. Bang! Exclamation mark. Just when Yunshu was thinking about how to deal with these miscellaneous soldiers, a powerful thigh-covered chakra kicked Yunshu Susanoo fiercely, but this did not have any impact on Susanoo, didn't even move. It's the first time I've seen someone kick Susanoo. When I grow up, there was Danzo human who stabbed Susanoo in the past, and now K kicks Susanoo with his feet. Co-authoring this ultimate. Does strength not deserve a more powerful opponent? Might K, I have spared your life, why come here again? Yunshu looked at K and said coldly. He's not the Holy Mother, the main characters can't be killed, he just has a crush on these characters, but that doesn't mean Yunshu can let them go again and again. The ninja's way of survival is, protect your important things until death. For me to K, Konoha is my home, and all the ninjas in Konoha village are my family, so I won't let you hurt them again, even if I pay my life for it. After some impassioned speeches, K came to Yunshu, crossed his hands in front of him, as if preparing to use some moves. Facing this hot-blooded idiot who didn't understand anything, Yunshu didn't think of anything to refute. Forget it. Forget it. If you want to die, I will help you. Yunshu said helplessly. The 6th gate of the 8-door dungeon. Open. Mate K passed the first 5 gates and directly opened the 6th gate of the 8-door dungeon. Powerful chakra burst out from K. Power prelude. Bang! Exclamation mark. Susanoo, who was hard and unshakable in front of ordinary ninjas, was directly kicked and split by Mate K's kick. Konoha Badrock students. Click. K, who was in midair, received another powerful elbow, completely crushing Susanoo. The provocation has passed. It seems that you can't be more serious. Yunshu squinted his eyes. The explosive K is still very powerful. God K will also step on the moon and catch up with him at a very fast speed to hit the Day Tiger, so the safest way is to prevent him from opening the 7th door. The next step is the real power of Sharingan. Danzo, show me you stinky mouse who only hides in the dark. You can't just snap off Uchiha's eyeball and put it on. Yunshu closed his eyes and opened them again. It's already a kaleidoscope writing sharing eye. Is it that weird pupil technique again? But this time I have found a way to deal with you. I don't want to talk to you. Yunshu said looking at K who was rushing towards him. Drink. Yunshu tied the seal with one hand and activated another pupil technique he had never used before. Gehzhi guaniming. Konoha. PFFT. Exclamation mark. As soon as K shouted 2 words of attack, he fell from midair to the ground, and the 8 armors on his body were also closed. What happened? I didn't see your eyes. Why? K got up from the ground in a daze and looked at Yunshu and said doubtfully, HMM. Yunshu felt a little discomfort in his eyes suddenly. A trace of blood seeped out from under Yunshu's eyelids. This pupil technique consumes a lot. Or, Yunshu was using it for the first time, so he was not familiar with the detailed information of this pupil technique. From Gehzhi guaniming, in Yunshu's understanding, it seems that he can cancel any moves that the opponent has activated or will activate in the next period of time that will have an effect on him, including but not limited to all tricks other than attack ability or ability, which is called silence. But this silent pupil technique has a disadvantage, that is, if the opponent has activated or is using tricks, etc. If it is forcibly closed, it will cause a lot of side effects to the caster. The side effects of the operator are also greater. K who opened the 6 doors is really difficult to deal with. Yunshu's physical fitness and strength are directly proportional. Since fighting with K who opened the 6 doors will cause injuries, the side effects of forcibly closing the K pupil who opened the 6 doors will be more serious. It's normal for Yunshu's eyes to bleed. What a pair of good eyes. Danzo's voice came from behind K, and the only 2 remaining root members, Shanzanfeng and Yanvtojin, also stood behind Danzo. It finally came out. Look at how much Konoha has paid for you. If you don't commit suicide and pay them for it, it wouldn't be too irresponsible. Yunshu looked at Danzo and said jokingly, HMPH. You articulate kid. I hope you can still speak like this in the future. Let's do it. Danzo directed the remaining 2 roots to go forward to deliver the head. He couldn't make any moves at the side, so he could only stand watching the play with an anxious look on K's face. He came to help, but he hadn't been able to help you yet, so he was going to explain that he was here. Seeing the 2 of them rushing towards him alternately, one left and one right, Yunshu didn't even raise his hand, but just glared at them, and the 2 of them stood upright in place. It seems that Kakashi and the others didn't have time to tell you my information. The corners of Yunshu's mouth slightly raised. It seemed that the 10 sharing eyes on Danzo's body could be saved. He knocked out 1 before, and there are still 9 left on his arm, and there is a kaleidoscope that stops water. This wave is a bumper harvest. Renin is any handprint, just like Naruto's multiple shadow clones with hands forming across, the first generation's clapping of hands, and the second generation's never seen before seen water seals. End of this chapter. Chapter 91. What? I can't move my body. Danzo was just about to ask Yunshu what he meant, but he suddenly couldn't move his body. Is it a sealing technique like the self-professional curse seal? Danzang thought to himself. He is also a person who has experienced big winds and waves anyway, and he didn't become panicked because of this trivial matter. Fortunately, Ai's energy was activated in advance before this. It seems that the brat doesn't know this technique. When I get your eyes, I will definitely crush you. After struggling for a while to no avail, Danzo finally gave up. He couldn't break through Yunshu's technique now, but he didn't panic as he still had 9 lives left. Instead he was waiting for Yunshu to kill him. Then he could break through the moment Yunshu relaxed. Take the opportunity to counter-kill Yunshu. Looking at your confident appearance, it seems that Ai's energy has already been activated, Yunshu said with a playful smile on his lips. Hearing Yunshu's words, Danzo was very uneasy now, and Ai's energy was exposed, which meant that the opponent had already known his combat routines. In this way, the two sides are now competing for stamina, and whoever runs out of chakra first will be finished. Then, let's turn off this wasteful secret technique for you. Yunshu silenced Danzo. By the way, Gezhi Guaniming and Ryozuna are different than Guming, and they don't need to look at the opponent, which means that this is not an illusion of the visual system. Jiming only needs the opponent to be within his activation range, just like Obito's right-eyed Kami needs to be at close range to absorb the opponent. Danzo, this world is not something that foreigners like you can control. Yunshu came to Danzo's side and patted him on the shoulder and said mysteriously, the ninja chakra warriors in this world are created by the Otsutsuki clan from beginning to end. People like them who do not inherit the Otsutsuki gene will be cannon fodder in 2 years. Pack up and prepare to die. Yunshu first untied the bandage on Danzo's head, buckled Shisu's Sharingan, and then chopped off Danzo's entire right arm. This arm is the right arm of a person named Shin. Shin's body is a bit special. It has organs that can accommodate all transplanted things without rejection. This is why this arm can bear so many Sharingan's main reason. But Yunshu is not interested in men's bodies, so he just shut down all the Sharingan on it in front of Danzo, and then left Danzang here to fend for himself. Without the power of Sharingan with the neutralization, the yang power of the cells between the pillars of Danzo will soon explode, turning Danzo into a giant tree. What? Not long after Yunshu left the underground space, a scream came up from the ground, and then a huge tree rushed up from the underground space. Don't think that Danzo's death is too simple. In the original book, Sasuke's strength can kill Danzo several times in a few minutes. If Danzo's own strength does not have Sharingan and Hashirama cells, it may not be as good as an ordinary ninja. Next is Itachi and Obito. Yunshu narrowed his eyes. Shishu's eyes. Yunshu had other plans, unless his Sharingan has not evolved after absorbing all the Sharingan. Otherwise Yunshu it can't absorb Shishu's eyes. Isn't it good to save this kind of pupil technique that can permanently modify the will after using it up? Anyway, other gods are not blind pupils when they run out. As for the letter full of sharing eyes, this character only came out in the blogger. Yunshu is not sure if he can find him now. Anyway, after all the sharing eyes in the plan are collected, Yunshu can go take a look at Orochimaru. Maybe he can get some new gadgets from Orochimaru. After all, this guy's technology can be higher than that of the world where Yunshu lived in his previous life in some respects. Itachi will come to Konoha in a few days. Where should I go next? Yunshu returned to the place where Sasuke was imprisoned. There should be some Sharingan in Orochimaru, but Orochimaru is so good at hiding things. If he hides all the Sharingan in his stomach, then even if he restrains Orochimaru, he can't take out those Sharingan. After all, it's not really in the stomach, it's just an expression of Orochimaru's unique summoning technique. If you really want to put such a sharp sword, snake, scroll, etc. in your stomach will be ruined long ago. That's right. Why don't you go and learn medical ninjutsu, so that I can help Zyou to heal her when she is injured in the soul fight? Yunshu thought for a while, and decided to practice medical ninjutsu. After all, the medical system in this world is completely different from that of Douluo. It can completely heal and restore a person in a short period of time. Although Yunshu's pure heart fruit can be cured, it can only stop bleeding. The rupture cannot be repaired, and this time reflects the role of medical ninjutsu. Moreover, medical ninjutsu can not only heal quickly, but also detoxify and fight. The chakra scalpel can even cut tendons. The most important thing is that the chakra scalpel does not need to scratch the human body like a knife. A single touch can easily cut off the meridians in a human body. This move can have a miraculous effect on those hunky men and muscular brothers, especially a strong man like Wangyoucao, who relies on himself to be a big muscular bully all day long and looks awesome, thinking that his defense is strong and invincible. If he learned the chakra scalpel, Yunshu could easily deal with defense type soul masters like Wangyoucao. However, the detoxification technique can actually directly strip the poison from the human body. This kind of detoxification method can save almost all poisoned people, as long as they don't die on the spot. It's decided, I'll learn medical ninjutsu. Yunshu thought of this, and used the transformation technique, to transform himself into an ordinary Konoha ninja. It should not be my fault that my transformation technique was seen through before, but because Konoha had already prepared for it. If I could see through the transformation technique casually, then what's the point of this technique being invented? Cooperate with the shadow clone to make yourself happy. What's more, Konoha is in danger now. Hokage is dead. Konoha's number 1 technician rank has temporarily dropped, and Konoha's strongest ninja K is now stunned by Yunshu, and is buried deep underground with Jiraiya and the others. Because the big tree that Danzo turned into has broken through the building, a large number of ruins fell into the ground, burying those who fainted. The remaining 2 elders are useless, and some of the rest of the ninjas may still be dealing with the invasion of Sagakure and Itogakuya. Now that there are too many Konoha problems, who cares about you? A normal looking ordinary ninja. End of this chapter. Chapter 90 to learning medical ninjutsu. Konoha's hospital. Coming here, Yunshu found that the inside was already overcrowded. Most of them were injured in the battle against the invaders, and there were also some ordinary people who were affected by the battle. Yunshu openly opened Sharingan to copy the medical ninjutsu used by these people, because the system that medical ninjutsu belongs to is also ninjutsu. To be precise, it should be called Yangren ninjutsu. What I can't copy when I write Sharingan: the palm fairy technique, the technique of extracting fine disease, the technique of healing and regeneration, and the chakra scalpel, that is amputating the patient's limb. These medical ninjutsu, which ordinary people need to study for many years, were all copied by Yunshu in this short half an hour. Who made Sharingan be so perverted? However, copying is copying, and Yunshu needs to improve his proficiency. Aren't there so many experimental subjects here? Yunshu immediately realized, what does it take to be proficient in medical ninjutsu? Isn't it the injured patient? Look, it's all over here. Yaxi, find a few unlucky ones to try first. Yunshu approached an unlucky one with shurikens all over his body. Half an hour later, the patient who was already foaming at the mouth immediately attracted the attention of a doctor. You bastard. Did you come here on purpose to make trouble? A female medical staff who couldn't see her face clearly while wearing a mask said angrily by grabbing Yunshu by the collar. Actually, I'm here to learn medical ninjutsu. Yunshu looked at the patient who seemed to be more serious than before and said with some embarrassment, "What? You dare to treat patients without learning medical ninjutsu?" The female doctor burst out when she heard that Yunshu was only here to learn. Doctors are naturally the kind of people with a benevolent heart. Seeing Yunshu disrespecting the wounded so much, the doctor was obviously very angry. However, after such a practice, Yunshu already had a feeling, and he felt that with just one more person, he should be able to learn how to heal. You bastard. Get lost. I don't have time to deal with you right now. The female doctor was about to say something when the wounded man's screams attracted his attention again. Because he was too busy, he had no choice but to drop Yunshu and devote himself to the work of helping the injured again. Yunshu also followed the doctor with great interest. It seemed that the other party was a very advanced medical ninja. It would be helpful for Yunshu to see more about her healing methods. For the next period of time, Yunshu stayed in the hospital, observing and studying with Aoi, who was the female doctor before, and she seemed to see that Yunshu really wanted to learn medical ninjutsu, so in her spare time in addition, he will explain to Yunshu what needs to be paid attention to in a certain place. Then, Yunshu started his journey of rescuing the dying and healing the wounded in Konoha. On the way, Yunshu also found that some of the wounded sent here were injured by himself, but this shows that Jiraiya and K have been rescued out. Of course, this is also expected by Yunshu. After all, Kakashi did not participate in the war, and there has been no news for a long time. Kakashi will definitely be worried and go to check. That's why he found Jiraiya, who was buried under the waste them. It's just that Jiraiya and K didn't suffer any serious injuries. Unlike those root members, some were even split in half by Yunshu, and some were sent here with their legs broken and still alive. Recently, the number of injured people sent here has become less and less, and here is not so busy. You can go back. KUI looked at Yunshu and said slowly, "Okay, anyway, my medical ninjutsu is almost done." Yunshu thought to himself, then left the hospital and rushed towards the place where Sasuke was detained. Yunshu reckoned that Itachi appeared during this period of time, so he was going to bring Sasuke out. After all, threatening the other party has to let the other party see that he has something in his hands. So you just run in front of others and say your younger brother was kidnapped by me. If you cut out your eyeballs and give them to me, it's no wonder that others don't think you're crazy. Yo. Good morning. Yunshu greeted Sasuke. The answer to Yunshu was a moment of silence. Sasuke hadn't said a word to him since Yunshu had his eyeballs cut off, and the Yunshu he ate was just sent by the shadow clone. As for when Sasuke ate Yunshu, he didn't care. A 12-year-old child will not be able to resist eating when he is hungry and will not have the willpower to starve himself to death. Snapped. Yunshu came to Sasuke in an instant and knocked him out, then tied him with a rope and took him away. What a coincidence. Yunshu just walked out of the room with Sasuke when he sensed a strange but somewhat similar power with him, and if nothing else happened, it should be Itachi Uchiha motto Itachi. No, I have to go first, otherwise Itachi will be annoyed if Konoha's people find out. Yunshu thought of this and hurriedly dropped Sasuke in his hand. Itachi was discovered by Red and Asuma shortly after entering the village, and then the battle began, followed by Kakashi and K, so that if there is one more him, there will be another big battle in Konoha today. After all, Yunshu, Itachi, and Kisame all have good fighting power. It is basically impossible to win in a short time. If they can't beat them, they will call for reinforcement. The more they call, the more they will be endless. In the end, even the whole Konoha will fight the three of them. As for running away, Yunshu will not run away without getting Itachi's eyes, and Itachi will not run away after knowing that Sasuke is in Yunshu's hands. It is no exaggeration to say that if Yunshu and Itachi launch Susanoo to attack Konoha at the same time today, Konoha will be destroyed. During this period of time, Konoha can beat Itachi only Jiraiya and K, but there is no one who can beat Yunshu. When Yunshu rushed to the vicinity of Itachi's chakra, Yunshu happened to see Kakashi and Asuma at the door of the store, as well as Uchiha Itachi in the store. What's the matter? Has Sasuke found it yet? Asuma asked Kakashi, who was a little depressed when he saw the door. Ah, it's that guy called Uchiha Tree. Kakashi was a little different from the original book. He was too focused on finding Sasuke and didn't find the Akatsuki duo in the store. Uchiha Tree. The Itachi in the shop felt turbulent when he heard the name. An unknown Uchiha tribe survived, and from what Kakashi said, it seemed that his younger brother Sasuke was captured by this guy named Uchiha Itachi. Could it be that he wanted to avenge his genocide? After all, it was rumored that Itachi slaughtered all the Uchiha tribe. Now Itachi was not calm at all. He wanted to take advantage of this mission to capture Kyuubi to come back and take the opportunity to warn Danzo, but he didn't expect to hear that Danzo had already spent money when he came back all gone. Uchiha Tree. Itachi quietly stared at the front, wondering what he was thinking. End of this chapter. Chapter 93. Uchiha Tree. Caring. Yunshu looked at the few people in front of him and gave them a thumbs up. He was still thinking about how to tell Itachi that he had kidnapped Sasuke, but he didn't expect these honest people to talk about it in front of Itachi. God's help. All done. Yunshu is now using the transformation technique, so even if they stand not far from them and eavesdrop, they will not be able to find him. Seeing Kakashi's haggard appearance, he probably didn't notice these two weirdly dressed guys, so the three of them left after a few words. Oh, I finally left. Yunshu walked into the meatball shop, where Itachi was with a smirk. Are you acquainted, Mr. Itachi? Gixi asked Itachi suspiciously when he saw Yunshu walking straight towards them. No, I don't know. Itachi said lightly. Don't say that. Kakashi-san just talked about me. Yunshu said with a smile. It's you. Itachi's 3-hook jade had been opened at some point, and he stared deeply at Yunshu and said, Sasuke is everything to him, and everything he does is for Sasuke. But now there is Kisame in front of him, and everyone knows that Kisame is a partner, rather than being sent to watch him. So no matter how angry he is, he can't show it in the slightest, otherwise he will be exposed if Gixia detects it. Danzo was also killed by you? Itachi frowned. Now that he knew he was an undercover agent, both of them were dead. Of course, Itachi didn't care whether he could return to Konoha. After all, he was ready to sacrifice himself for Sasuke preparation. No, he was killed by the first generation of Hokage, and it has nothing to do with me. Yunshu shook his head. Danzo is purely self-inflicted, and he has no ability to control a powerful force that does not belong to him. And now he is backlash for myself. I can only say that I did it on my own, and at most I set up an indirect murder for Orochimaru. After all, the cells between the columns were transplanted by Orochimaru to Danzo. Don't talk about these things, Uchiha Itachi. I want to talk to you alone. Yunshu said straight to the point, and then opened the kaleidoscope Sharingan to look at Uchiha Itachi. In this world, besides Sasuke, Itachi should be most concerned about Sharingan. Kaleidoscopic Sharingan. The moment he saw Yunshu Sharingan, Itachi almost cried out in surprise. Kaleidoscopic? Do you have the same eyes as Mr. Itachi? Kisame turned to look at Yunshu and said. Kisame. Don't look into his eyes. Itachi exclaimed. These two idiots have partnered with him for so long. Don't they even know the function of Sharingan? Dare to look directly at a Sharingan who is not sure if it is an enemy. It's late. Yunshu said with a smile. He cast an illusion on Gixi. Of course there is no harm, but it will make Gixi fall into a deep sleep temporarily. However, before we do that, we need to deal with this strangely shaped sword. Yunshu came behind Gixia and pulled out his sword muscle. This living knife was about to wake up GUI Shark just now, but Yunshu couldn't let him wake up this shark guy. Kisame's stats on the book of the Zerg are only 5 points in illusion, and he is considered to be the least good at illusion among the shadow level powerhouses. What's your purpose? Itachi looked coldly at Yunshu's seal on the shark muscle. Itachi would definitely not show him a good face for the person who kidnapped his younger brother. Your Sharingan and Zishu's other gods, Yunshu said with a smile. Impossible. Itachi refused without hesitation. He knew what the consequences would be if his Sharingan and Shisu's Sharingan were revealed. A ninja village can be wiped out with just one person. Don't rush to refuse, or you can't refuse. If you don't hand over your Sharingan, your younger brother will die. He is in my hands now, don't forget. Yunshu finally put away the suit with a smiling expression. Sharingan is almost in hand, so there can be no more mistakes at this time. Itachi fell silent for a moment. Indeed, in his heart, his younger brother will always be the number one, but if he just handed over his Sharingan, he can't stop what happens. What if the other party regrets after getting the Sharingan? He has no ability to stop Yunshu, and he still has many plans, but it seems that this plan cannot be completed. If he loses Sharingan, he loses all his power. Yunshu saw what he was thinking. Don't worry about the follow-up of you and your brother. I won't do anything to you. After all, if I want to kill you, there is no need to threaten me with Sasuke, right? Yunshu's hand gradually stretched out in front of Itachi, as if the next second, his eyeballs would be snapped out. The body can't respond. Is this your pupil technique? Itachi looked at Yunshu in shock and said, his kaleidoscope Sharingan didn't even notice any chakra flow, indicating that Yunshu's pupil the power has far surpassed him. That's right. Yunshu changed into that smiling expression again. And if you need it, I can also help your brother explain your behavior, and help you make arrangements so that you and your brother can live together in a place where no one is at ease. So, hand over Sharingan. Sasuke can survive. Otherwise, Sasuke and Konoha will disappear. You know the power of Susanoo. Yunshu began to threaten again, acting like a big villain. I know. Itachi has no way out now. If he doesn't hand it over, the opponent's mysterious pupil technique will definitely kill him on the spot, and then go to deal with his younger brother. So for the safety of his younger brother, Itachi had no choice but to choose the path that Yunshu had chosen for him, and summoned the crow with Zishu's eyes transplanted. Yunshu took out 3 bottles containing the storage fluid in a timely manner, and placed them in front of Itachi. So you've already prepared it. Wait, did you take Sasuke's eyes too? Itachi suddenly remembered and asked. Anyway, you can transplant a pair of eyes at will, and you can transplant them when the time comes. Yunshu said indifferently. Since this is the case, then, please forgive me for being so hard to follow. Mother Terrace. While speaking, Itachi turned on the kaleidoscope and directly gave Yunshu an immortal flame package. Alas. Yunshu sighed softly as he felt a black fire burning his body. Bang! Exclamation mark. A puff of smoke rose, and the cloud tree burning with Amaterasu's flame suddenly disappeared. Shadow clone. Itachi exclaimed. You don't want to talk to you well. Sasuke is dead now. Yunshu's cold voice sounded behind Itachi. End of this chapter. Chapter 94 Pupil Art. Divine Might. Sasuke will definitely die a miserable death. Yunshu said coldly standing behind Itachi. You too. Yunshu followed up. Bang! Exclamation mark. The entire meatball shop was exploded by a huge red skull, followed by a golden giant. By the way, it is said that Orochimaru likes to study the bodies of your Uchiha clan. Anyway, Sasuke without Sharingan is not important to me or to you. I can give him to Orochimaru. Itachi suddenly regretted making a move on Yunshu. Just now when he heard that Yunshu knocked off his younger brother's eyeballs, his heart burst into anger. But now that he thinks about it, at least Sasuke still has hope. Although his eyes are gone, at least before I can still live well. Now it's better. I don't even have a whole body. In Itachi's memory, that guy Orochimaru has been coveting their Uchiha's Sharingan for a long time. Although Sasuke doesn't have Sharingan now, but at least he has the body of a Uchiha clan. Are you sure you want to fight here? Anyway, this is your Konoha, not mine. Yunshu smashed a house with a single blow. Oh, that's right. I forgot to tell you, your younger brother is in a certain house in Konoha right now. You'd better be careful when you start, or you, the elder brother who loves him the most, might send him down with his own hands. Hell. Yunshu's words were like a pig's heart, and Itachi had no intention of continuing to fight after hearing this, and he completely lost this wave of games. I admit defeat. Itachi undid Susanoo, and knelt down in front of Yunshu powerlessly. Can you please let Sasuke go? I'm willing to hand over Shisu's Sharingan and mine. No problem. Who made me a good person? Yunshu showed that smiling expression again, and then took out 3 more bottles, and placed them in front of Itachi. Itachi looked at the young man in front of him who looked very young, but his behavior revealed a sinister and cunning style, and he shook his head helplessly. He had never felt so frustrated when he grew up. First, he snapped off the water-stopping Sharingan on the crow's body, and put it into the bottle. After hesitating for a moment, he closed his own eyes, and put them in the bottle. Seeing this, Yunshu received the 3 bottles into the system space. It's finally done. Now it's just Uchiha Obito. I hope you can do what you say. Itachi stared at Yunshu with empty eyes and said slowly, then took out a handful of kunai from behind, and was ready to kill himself. No problem. Since my task is almost completed, I'm in a good mood now. I can take you to meet your brother. Yunshu picked up Itachi and rushed towards the place where Sasuke was being held. Not long after Yunshu left, Kakashi and Red Asmap, who had just left, also arrived here. What destructive power this is. Asma said in shock, looking at the ruins in front of her. Is it him again? Damn it. Kakashi clenched his fists. He just saw a flash of golden light, which reminded him of the Uchiha tree. Sure enough, even the mutated Sharingan can't escape the loss of eyesight. After dealing with Sasuke and Itachi, Yunshu left Konoha village by himself. His eyesight has changed from 8K to 4K in just a few hours. If he continues to use Sharingan's pupil technique in Susanoo like this without restraint, Yunshu estimates that it will take less than 3 days for his eyes it will become 720p or even 360p, and finally completely blind. We need to hurry up and deal with Obito's eye. Yunshu thought to himself. The divine power of Obito Sharingan is the pupil technique that Yanshu wants most. This space-type pupil technique can be stored, no matter what it is. Even people can be placed in it, so Yanshu must not give up Obito's eye. It's just that it may be a bit troublesome to meet Obito now. Such a big incident in Konoha will definitely be reported to Obito. If the situation of Kakashi and Itachi is not reported by Kisame, it will be fine. If it is reported back, Obito will definitely take precautions. After all, Kaleidoscope Obito is very familiar with the power of Itachi, Shisu and his own pupil art. Which one is not a disgusting yuppie? The strongest illusion without solution, the strongest attack ninjutsu, and the illusion second only to other gods, his own time and space. Damn it. If I knew it, I would have dealt with that shark guy. Yanshu immediately regretted it now. Although he got Kakashi's Sharingan, he couldn't use it after transplanting it. The first is that it is definitely impossible for him to transplant it. Although Sharingan can be used directly in the Uchiha clan, Yanshu's Sharingan has obviously mutated, so it is impossible for Yanshu to replace it. The second is that Yanshu doesn't have anyone who believes in using this Sharingan. If that person suddenly rebels when Yanshu is facing day 2, or is persuaded by day 2, then he will be finished and trapped. It is impossible for Shenwei Dimension to escape without the ability of time and space. Third, that is, the ability of time and space disappears directly after this Sharingan is absorbed. Should I try to absorb it? Yanshu thought to himself while holding Obito's left eye in his hand. Just absorbing one eye shouldn't lead to evolution directly. Yanshu was afraid that his eye would directly upgrade after absorbing Obito's left eye, and then the system would send him back to Douluo world, or something like this. A Sharingan will be completely converted into power for him to absorb, and the pupil art of Shenwei will disappear immediately. Damn it. Just bet it won't. Yanshu was cruel and took out this Sharingan to absorb it. Anyway, if you keep it in your hand, you won't be able to use it for the time being, so why not take it out and try your luck? Yanshu slowly brought the Sharingan in his hand close to the center of his eyebrows, and a suction immediately transformed the eyeball in Yanshu's hand into a beam of light that merged into Yanshu's left eye. It's so good. Yanshu covered his left eye and said uncomfortably, "It seems to have a feeling." Yanshu said slowly. He felt that his Sharingan seemed to be conveying something to him. Yanshu concentrated his consciousness again and carefully felt the emotions coming from Sharingan. Fusion. Absorption. Should I choose to fuse or absorb? Yanshu suddenly said in surprise. It seems that he was right. His Sharingan can indeed fuse. The pupil technique of Sharingan absorbed. Fusion. Yunli immediately responded. As soon as Yanshu's meaning was conveyed, the swelling feeling in his eyes disappeared instantly. Suddenly, in Yanshu's mind, the pupil technique of Sharingan's left eye suddenly had an extra pupil technique, Shenwei. End of this chapter. Chapter 95. Shenwei. It's great. Yanshu said pleasantly that with this pupil technique, it would be much easier for him to deal with Obito. He directly arranged a shadow clone in the Shenwei space to wait for Obito to blur, and then took the opportunity to attack his main body. Is it the same long-range Kakashi power as Kakashi? It seems that it is simply fused with the power of this Sharingan, and it has not improved the power of Sharingan. Yanshu felt a vision of his right eye, and found that it didn't recover. It seems that fusion can't evolve your Sharingan, you have to absorb it. Being able to absorb it means that the pupil technique will completely disappear, and all of it will be transformed into power to supply Yanshu's Sharingan to grow. Immediately afterwards, Yanshu fused issues to sharing eyes, so that there were 2 more pupils that could permanently modify other people's will. Although the cooling time was a bit longer, it would take about 4 or 5 years, but it is also better than the more than 10 years it takes for Zisshu to use it by itself. Although the cooling time of Bishanshan will be reduced to a few hours after the intercolumn cells are transplanted, it is a pity that Yanshu does not intend to transplant the intercolumn cells. You must know that chakra contains a person's consciousness and some souls. These souls are like a common one. Minato sealed his own chakra in Naruto's body just to prevent Naruto from being bewitched by Kyuubi one day. Unlock the seal. These chakras are the backhand. He can use the gossip seal again to seal the 9 tails again. Obviously, he has never seen his son grow up, but Minato recognized Naruto when he came to the battlefield as soon as he was resurrected. So there is only one possibility. Minato in the belly of the god of death learned about the identity of the Minato in Naruto's seal all memories, which means that no matter how many souls are divided, there is something between these souls that connects them. The same is true for Orochimaru. His body did not die, but was sealed in the Ten-Fist Sword by Itachi, but Itachi died, so Orochimaru's body was sealed forever. The same is true for Orochimaru's rebirth, by relying on the curse seal. Part of the soul and chakra with his consciousness resurrected in Orochimaru. After Orochimaru was resurrected, he also learned all the information from the outside world, because there were also a lot of his souls in Dao's body. As for why this situation did not happen to Senju Hashirama, maybe the consciousness in the cells of Senju Hashirama is not from Senju Hashirama, but from Ajira. After all, the transplanted cells after so many years of death can erode the human body. Shouldn't be cells that humans should have. Cough cough. Off topic. Anyway, Yonshu would not transplant such a disgusting thing. Let's go find Obito next. The technique of shadow clone. Yonshu separated out a shadow clone and sucked him into the Shenwei space. Looking for Obito outside is undoubtedly a needle in a haystack. It is better to enter the Shenwei space. After all, there is nothing in that space. As long as Obito appears near him, Yonshu can easily sense his chakra. By the way, Tsunade doesn't seem to know about Konoha's situation yet. Why don't you ask her about medical ninjutsu and Yun Seal? Yonshu thought for a while and decided to go to Banchu Street first. Contact Tsunade. The Yun Seal is an advanced gadget that can store energy. If Yonshu learns it, maybe he can accumulate soul power and then level up. Slowly accumulate from level 35 and then rush to level 40. It seems useless. It is still convenient to use it to save chakra. It happened that we could meet Orochimaru there, and Yonshu also wanted to see if there was any Sharingan in Orochimaru. It must be much more convenient to deal with a rotten snake that has lost its hands and soul and cannot seal. As for the bag, Yanayashangmi is also a very useful medical ninjutsu. Let's see if you can come over. If not, then copy it while they are fighting. Yen healing injury has higher requirements on the operator's reaction and insight ability, because this technique is to use the energy in the body to protect the part that is about to be attacked in advance, when it is known that the attack cannot be avoided. The fast healing starts in an instant, so that even a very powerful attack can be followed by the body. I sensed Obito so quickly. Walking on the way to Banchu Street, Yonshu was taken aback suddenly because his shadow clone had disappeared. Obito noticed that there were people in the Camu space and disappeared. Have you walked about 30 miles to the southwest? Yonshu narrowed his eyes. The position of the operator is the same when switching between the Shenwei space and the real world, and there will be no such situation that there will be a huge deviation in the position after entering the time and space. The strongest evidence is that Naruto's shadow avatar was sucked in by Obito from the outside world, and it was not sent to other places, but was in the same position as the place where it was sucked in the real world. That's why it is possible to attack Obito's main body when Obito uses blur. Thinking of this, Yonshu opened his wings and flew into the sky, rushing towards the location where Obito was found in time and space by the previous shadow clone. The time and space of Shenwei may not be just an ordinary space, but the opposite plane of the earth. Shenwei is just the key to open that plane, or use force to create a special different space connected to the earth like the meta domain. What it is, I can only study it slowly in Douluo. Yonshu thought to himself. After all, it is impossible for a kaleidoscope pupil technique to give birth to a place as big as the world. You must know that even the strongest eye, Sam's or a Sharingan, cannot create a world. At most, it can only choose to use illusion to hypnotize the world into a dream. Is this secret feeling white? Yonshu squinted his eyes looking at the scenery below. Although he couldn't see anything, it was just an ordinary forest, but Yonshu could detect a very hidden aura. In the entire ninja world, there are only a few who can shield their own breath in such a close place, the former Tsuchikajimu, Kuros, and a large number of bays. Tuaingwashi possesses a secret technique called Watch and Maze, which can make him completely invisible. This kind of invisibility will disappear together with his own chakra and body breath, making it very difficult for people to detect. As for Hiju and Beiju, they are purely the abilities of this special life body. When the Mayfly technique is activated, it can isolate all breaths, but Yunshu's perception is not only chakra. As long as it is still breathing the heart, he can feel any living thing that is still beating. That's why he could detect the hidden atmosphere below, but it's still some distance away from Obito. Yunshu felt that the other party didn't come to spy on him specially. Besides, he was flying in the sky, so it's not sure whether the other party found him or not. So Yunshu didn't pay attention, just stopped for a while, and then rushed towards Obito again. End of this chapter. If you're listening to this novel on a channel other than Fanfic World, it means they downloaded and uploaded it without effort. We cordially invite you to visit our channel, Mundo Fanfic Novelos. There you'll find the original version of this story and you can explore many other novels of various genres. We're waiting for you to immerse yourself in a world of incredible novels. Chapter 96, The Soldier Without Fighting. Uchiha Obito. Yunshu looked at the masked man not far away, and a stone hanging in his heart finally fell to the ground. He was afraid that this guy couldn't beat him and ran away. As the saying goes, a cunning rabbit has 3 caves. This guy is equivalent to the existence of a big boss behind the scenes. There must be more places to hide. There are countless tool monsters like Beze that can be used. Even if they don't go out, they can know what color underwear Kakashi is wearing today. If he hides and doesn't use divine power, then who can stand it? Yunshu separated a shadow clone again and then sent him into the Shenwei space. Firstly, he could attack his main body when Obito used Void, and secondly, to prevent him from escaping. Hey, isn't this the famous Uchiha Madara? Yunshu walked forward after preparing everything. Unless the immortal of the 6 paths is revived today, no one can save this old hermaphrodite Obito. Half of Uchiha's yin, half of the yang of the intercolumn cells equals true yin and yang people. Uchiha Obito. Who are you? Obito said domineeringly with Madara's tone. Obito, he's the one I told you, that captured Kakashi's Sharingan and the Uchiha tree who killed Danzo. Haze rose up from the ground and said sadly, it's you. Obito's voice changed obviously, because he had already thought about this after he learned that his other eye stored in Kakashi's place had been taken away by someone. It is his biggest hole card in the ninja world. It would be fine if no one knew about this weakness, but it was Uchiha who took his eyes away. This made Obito have to consider the worst case, even though Kakashi's eyes haven't evolved to kaleidoscope for years. But what if Yunshu can use his Sharingan? Obito didn't know that they turned on the kaleidoscope at the same time on the day Lin died. From the information he collected, Kakashi only turned on the 3 god jade at most, and Obito chose to randomly use it on his left eye to save his life. Installed a Sharingan and reserved it for Ai's energy, so he didn't get back his own Sharingan after so many years. His only weakness is Kakashi's uncertain eye, and now this eye has fallen into Yunshu's hands. If the other party really touches his pupil technique, it means that Kakashi's biggest trump card, Kamu, maybe it's useless. Of course, this kind of thing is also uncertain. Although Yunshu belongs to the Uchiha clan in Obito's view, it is still a question whether the Sharingan he left with Kakashi can open the kaleidoscope, let alone the kaleidoscope after opening. Can the pupil technique be guaranteed to be still divine? Isn't it Uchiha's 2 pupil techniques, 1 illusion technique and 1 attack ninjutsu? It's a pity. What Obito doesn't know is that his other eye opened the kaleidoscope with him a long time ago. It's just because Kishimoto didn't think of it in the early stage, and it was only 3 years later that Kakashi said that this was a new thing that Kakashi had only recently explored. You already know why I'm here, right? I won't say much more. Leave the eyes to me, or I'll grab them myself. The corners of Yunshu's mouth slightly raised. He was already fully prepared. There was an accident. Obito looked at Yunshu and didn't speak, just slapped the ground with one hand. Uchiha flame formation. The corner of Yunshu's mouth twitched. He didn't expect Obito to give him such an advanced ninjutsu at this time, which made him feel a little embarrassed. Then, let me see what kind of power you have. Obito looked at Yunshu and the barrier and murmured. After digesting the barrier, Yunshu opened his eyes and slowly walked towards the edge of the barrier. Where's your Kamu? Why don't you use it? Yunshu said to Obito with a smile across the barrier. Sure enough. He already knows my pupil technique. Obito said nothing on the surface, but there was a storm in his heart. It's sizzling! Exclamation mark. The chakra scalpel in Yunshu's hand directly cut across the flame barrier in front of him, and directly cut the barrier that could resist the attack of the tailed beast. Nani? Obito looked at the smiling young man in front of him in shock. He was still waiting for Yunshu to open the Gundam and then smash the barrier with a punch or some other weapon. He didn't expect to use a chakra directly. The scalpel easily cut through the enchantment technique he was so proud of. Boom. Yunshu came to Obito in an instant and punched his whirlpool mask. The quality is good. It can withstand my punch. You made it yourself out of a wooden tunnel? Yunshu's words shocked Obito again. Yunshu actually knew that he knew how to use a wooden tunnel. Yunshu was also a little surprised by the mask with soil. In the original book, he was blown up by the detonating talisman for about 10 minutes, but the mask only damaged one corner. There was also a head hammer with Naruto during the final battle, and the mask was not there. If it falls, you have to know how powerful the speed and strength of Naruto in Ninetales mode is. The mask made by this girl is a bit strong. Maybe it can also be bulletproof. What the hell do you know? Obito became a little uneasy. His whole cards were repeatedly exposed by the opponent. What the hell is that? Know what? Know that you sacrificed yourself to save Kakashi. Know that you were saved by Uchiha Madara. Know that you saw Kakashi use Reikiri to penetrate Lin's heart. Know that you opened the kaleidoscope their Sharingan. Let me tell you something. I think you, Wangyoucao, jumped directly into the kaleidoscope. You are definitely a genius. Yunshu started a crazy spoiler. Spoilers are always fun. And spoilers are always fun. Anyway, he won't come back after leaving this world. The plot or something. It has nothing to do with me. Shut up. Don't say any more. The masked man in front of him covered his head and howled in pain. Not only did Yunshu reveal Obito's experience, but Yunshu also revealed the conspiracy behind Lin. So Obito now knows that he was deceived by Uchiha Madara and became his tool man. Of course, Yunshu didn't say anything about Heiju. After all, this guy was still eavesdropping underground. Young man, you are a bit pitiful. Yunshu opened the kaleidoscope, used Gehzhigu aiming to prevent accidents, then walked over and patted Obito on the back and said, "Actually, this so-called infinite monthly reading." Yunshu whispered the secret about infinite monthly reading in Obito's ear. Of course he deliberately kept it from Heiju. He told all Madara's secrets, and Obito already knew what kind of vicious incident he had committed. Master and wife were all killed by him, and it was only for a so-called evil spirit that was sealed 1,000 years ago. And unlimited monthly reading is actually an illusion that turns people into Beiju. So, what's the point of you being alive? Yunshu reached out and took off the mask with soil and put it in his system space. This mask can definitely block Tang San's hidden weapons and is worth collecting. Give me your eyes. Yunshu put his hands in front of Obito's eyes and then pulled out his Sharingan. Yunshu used his mouth to deal with Obito. A complete victory. End of this chapter. Chapter 97. Target: Nine-tailed Orochimaru. Obito's eyes had been recovered, and Yunshu didn't care about Obito who was kneeling there to repent, but directly spread his wings and flew to the short book street to ambush Orochimaru. All the eyes that need to be recovered have been recovered, and Yunshu is also in a good mood. Next, it's Orochimaru. It would be great if I could also use a tool person like Beiju. What a pity. Walking on the short book street, Yunshu sighed. Finding someone should not be too simple for you. Just distribute them casually. 108,000 avatars go out, and they will definitely be delivered to your door within an hour. There are so many casinos in this damn place. How do I know where Tsunade is? Yunshu randomly chose a casino and walked in. Sure enough, I don't have the luck of the protagonist to find the target anywhere. Yunshu looked around for a week and found no trace of Tsunade, not even a woman. Old man, and it stinks of sweat, and there are even a few faceless people sitting there picking their feet. Yunshu held his nose and left here. It is impossible for Tsunade to appear in this kind of casino, based on the environment of this place. Lion Yunshu couldn't stand such an environment, let alone a woman. The number of people is too diverse, and there are also many ninjas, so it is inconvenient to perceive. Yunshu was sitting in a restaurant at this time, thinking about how to find Tsunade. Orochimaru probably has more caves than Obito, so I can only find her from Tsunade. After all, she will definitely come to Tsunade to help treat her hands in a few days. Unfortunately, her hands are the soul is sealed. It is not injured. It cannot be cured at all. By the way, shadow clone. So it seems that I haven't dispelled ninjutsu in the Shenwei space. Yunshu suddenly thought of the shadow clone, and then thought of the previously separated shadow clone squatting. It seems that Shenwei dimension doesn't know that Obito's Sharingan has arrived. Solution. Yunshu made a seal and cancelled the shadow clone. Yunshu didn't expect his shadow clone to be so dedicated, and he really stayed there for an hour without leaving. What is this? I scolded myself. Yunshu said a little speechlessly. The memory of the shadow clone in the space was fed back to him. After waiting for a long time, Obito didn't say anything, and I couldn't use the pupil technique to leave, but I was afraid that the action of the main body would fail due to the cancellation of the shadow clone, so I stayed there all the time, but I couldn't wait for the talent for several hours. I will curse my own body for being unreliable. After eating and resting for an hour or so, Yunshu split into 10 clones again. He didn't have a tailed beast in his body, so he couldn't split up thousands of clones like Naruto. Not to mention the lack of energy. Yunshu's head is a little dizzy after a few hours of experience with a shadow clone, and it takes a few hours of rest before he can continue to separate clones. If he really needs to separate thousands of clones, he may be fed back. His memory was blown into a brain damage. Go, find Tsunade and cancel the shadow clones. Yunshu sent 10 shadow clones to start looking for Tsunade, while he continued to rest for a while. After all, there are still 10 clones that need to be cancelled later. I didn't expect that Tsunade was not found, but I found a pair of people who were looking for Tsunade. A smile appeared on the corner of Yunshu's mouth, and one of his shadow clones saw Jiraiya and Naruto outside the short book street. The two then cancelled themselves and fed back the memory to the main body. Then I don't need to look for Tsunade anymore. Yunshu directly removed all the shadow clones. Otherwise, the longer the shadow clones existed, the more memories they would feed back, and Yunshu didn't expect to become uncomfortable at that time. Since Jiraiya and the others are here, it would be fine for Yunshu to follow them secretly. Anyway, they will find Tsunade sooner or later, so why waste their energy? By the way, Kyuubi. Do I want to take Kyuubi down? But Kyuubi doesn't seem to be able to take it away. Yunshu thought to himself, it was impossible for him to turn himself into Zuriki, and he didn't. It is impossible to persuade Ninetales to let go of his hatred, so sealing Ninetales into one's body is completely brain-dead behavior. If you can take Ninetales away and sign a contract, what a guy. One-tailed beast Jade can blow up a city. It's invincible. Yunshu's heart is crooked, but how to take Kyuubi away has become a problem. The choice of Jinchuriki is passed anyway, and he suffers. As for the others, Yunshu may try a one-tailed crane similar to Borinzuan, sealing the tailed beast in a container, and then storing it in the system space, but this sealing technique may need to be borrowed from Master Lapish. Which delay? Don't blame me. If you want to blame it, blame your own father. He is the one who sealed the Ninetales on you. Yunshu hid in the dark, and looked at the innocent Naruto and thought silently. 2 days later, Jiraiya and the others finally met Tsunade in a restaurant just like the original book. Yunshu didn't startle the snake, but just quietly guarded not far away. His target was only the Orochimaru, and the Orochimaru was estimated to be released in a few days. Yunshu didn't have the sealing technique yet, so he had to wait for the Orochi pill. Jiraiya, this person, Yunshu, knows that it is absolutely impossible to betray Konoha. As for whether Tsunade will be able to seal it, it is not clear, and Yunshu does not want to go out to scare the snake at this time, so he simply waits for another 2 days, and waits for San and Naruto will be captured after the war is over, and there will be thousands of snake pills. During this period, you can also copy the ninjutsu of the 3 ninja battles. Beautiful juice. By the way, Yunshu thought about it. Jiraiya also seemed to start teaching Naruto to practice spiral pills during this period of time. This kind of technique, that can be cast instantly without a seal, can also be copied. After all, it is used to make a surprise attack. It is so convenient. Naruto is not good enough. Yunshu has been secretly watching Naruto for several days. This guy bet with Tsunade whether he can learn the spiral pill within 7 days. It is already the 6th day, and he has not learned it yet. Even Yunshu, who was peeping in the dark, has almost figured out this ninjutsu. The main thing is the control of chakra. Yunshu was able to exercise the control of chakra to a very high level when he was not familiar with medical ninjutsu in Konoha's hospital. At least he finished carving the dog's head on the mudflow wall like Kakashi did. This kind of thing is absolutely easy. A Shemaru will come tomorrow or the day after tomorrow. Yunshu returned to the hotel. He couldn't just keep peeping in the dark, so he also stayed in the hotel near Tsunade. Anyway, the distance he can sense them, and is not afraid of being lost. End of this chapter. Chapter 98 Capture 9 Tails. Naruto, wake up. Yunshu came to the field and woke up Naruto, who was sleeping on the ground. Who is it? Naruto rubbed his eyes and looked at Yunshu in confusion. Are you? Uchiha? Naruto said in shock. Seeing Naruto's shocked expression, Yunshu seemed to have already told Naruto his identity and danger level from Kakashi. Why did you appear here? I'm still wondering why you suddenly disappeared. Naruto looked at Yunshu with some joy. Yunshu looked at Naruto in a daze. Didn't Kakashi tell him his true identity? I just like to travel around. Have you forgotten? I'm a wanderer. Seeing that Naruto didn't know his identity, Yunshu simply changed into that smiling expression again. If Kakashi didn't tell Naruto about himself, Yunshu knew a little bit about it. If he said it out, Naruto's idiot's character, I'm afraid he would take revenge on him the next time he met him. It can't be defeated, let alone Naruto, who is such a ninja. Simply don't tell Naruto, so that even if Naruto meets Yunshu again, if he doesn't take the initiative, maybe Yunshu can spare Naruto's life in the face of the past. I'm thinking too much. Naruto will die if he doesn't make a move. Unless Datsuki Ui manifests, Naruto, who has left 9 tails, will die. Yunshu thought to himself. Naruto, what are you doing here? Yunshu pretended not to see the big pits all over the ground and asked Naruto solemnly. Hey, tell me secretly, I'm actually practicing a unique move. Naruto said with a smile, not even noticing that the people around him were thinking about how to kill him. That's it, Seihoi. Yunshu said in a surprised tone. Let's go, I invite you to eat ramen. Yunshu patted Naruto's shoulder and said, because he sensed that someone was coming. Probably because he found that Naruto hadn't returned all night, so he was a little worried and came out to check. Really? After all, I didn't eat anything after practicing all night, Naruto said, stroking his stomach. Let's go. Yunshu hurriedly pushed Naruto away from another direction. Where did that brat go? Tsunade walked to the place where Naruto practiced spiral pills these days, only saw the miserable scene all over the ground, and muttered doubtfully after not seeing Naruto. It seems that I know that I can't finish it, and I'm afraid of losing face when I go back, so I gave up and ran away, Tsunade said with a smile on his lips. She was not optimistic about Naruto. After all, it took 3 generations of Hokage to develop A-level ninjutsu, let alone a kid. Even a Jonin would need a lot of time to master this jutsu. Even if there is Jiraiya, that guy will tell Naruto the trick. Judging from Naruto's chakra control ability, it is impossible to learn this technique within 7 days. This is also true. Naruto did not learn it within 7 days, but finally comprehended this technique on the 8th day. Forget it, leave him alone. That guy lost the bet, so his wallet will naturally belong to me. Tsunade took out Naruto's little frog wallet and weighed it on his phone. At least he can play a few games in some small casinos. Goo. Ah. It's really delicious. Although it doesn't taste as good as Uncle's handmade ramen, but ramen is indeed the best food in the world. Naruto drank the ramen soup in his hand after finishing. He looked at the 10 bowls in front of him, touched his stomach, and said with satisfaction, thank you. Next time I go to Konoha, I will treat you to ramen too. Naruto said with a smile, while watching Yunshu, who was still chewing slowly. Yunshu smiled and nodded at him, thinking to himself, there will be no next time for you. Well, I'm done eating too, let's go. After paying the bill, Yunshu took Naruto and left the ramen shop. When passing through a small alley, Yunshu knocked Naruto unconscious with a hand knife and then threw him into the Shenwei space. Regarding the Shenwei space, Yunshu actually doesn't know whether this thing created a space in the eyes or used the pupil technique as a key to unlock a different dimensional space that already existed on the earth. You can't gamble with this thing. If you lose it, it will be a mess. If you put 9 tails in the Shenwei dimension and then return to Douluo and find that the Shenwei dimension can't enter or disappear, it's not a blood loss. So at present, besides the Naruto he just threw into the Kamu space, there are only some oversized shurikens and a round fan. These are all put in with soil, and Yunshu didn't want to touch them. It's bad. At Tsunade-sama, Jiraiya-sama, Naruto is gone. Shizune ran to the small shop where Tsunade and Jiraiya were drinking in a panic. Ah, I know, I went to see it before. TCH. I probably didn't have the guts to come back. So I went back to the village. Tsunade said indifferently. No, Master Tsunade. I took a closer look at the place where Naruto practiced and found another person's footprints. And judging by the size of the footprints, it was a child who was only a few years older than Naruto. Do you still remember the place next to Master Orochimaru? Is that kid with glasses? Jinyan said nervously. Tsunade doesn't care about Konoha, but Shizune still cares a lot, especially after learning that Naruto is 9 tails Jinchuriki. Boom. You mean Orochimaru kidnapped Naruto? Jiraiya said in shock as he slammed the table. According to Orochimaru's character, this possibility is not impossible, and Orochimaru may have guessed that Tsunade couldn't bear to kill 2 innocent people as sacrifices. Thinking of this, Tsunade's face also sank. If Naruto was killed by Orochimaru in this way, then she would be the culprit. After all, she and Naruto made a bet, and Naruto only required 3 days to learn Spiral Pill. It was she who forced it to 7 days. If it was 3 days, that kid would have given up and gone back, and he would never have fallen into the hands of Orochimaru. Boom! Exclamation mark. Damn Orochimaru. Tsunade patted the table angrily and said, heh, did I hit it by mistake? Yunshu, who was peeping from the dark, said in surprise after seeing this scene. Originally, he only wanted to draw Kyuubi to leave the ninja world after dealing with Orochimaru, but he didn't expect that this wave of operations just made Orochimaru take the blame for him. But even if Naruto disappears, it won't make much change to the next plot, because this time Tsunade has become enemies with Orochimaru before he can drug Jiraiya. So even without Naruto, Tomorrow-san and Tsunade Jiraiya will still win the battle. As for Yunshu, he only needs to follow up when Orochimaru fails to escape. It is already a useless snake, and if it is injured again, Yunshu will save more effort. End of this chapter. Chapter 99. Orochimaru. The next day, Takage Levels and Wangyoucao came to the place where they had made an appointment with Orochimaru. Ashimaru. Hand over Naruto. When the enemy met, they were extremely jealous. Tsunade didn't intend to cure Orochimaru, but now because she kidnapped Naruto, Tsunade's feeling towards Orochimaru became even worse. Tsunade, are you rejecting me? Orochimaru knew it was a big deal when he saw Tsunade and Jiraiya appearing together. As for Naruto, Orochimaru will not admit to things that have not been done, but now it seems that they don't know where Naruto has gone. Therefore, you can take this opportunity to threaten Tsunade to treat him. Hehe. Tsunade, if you don't help me heal, then I will never see Naruto. Orochimaru smiled and stuck out his tongue to wash his face. Ashimaru, it really is you. Jiraiya clenched his fists when he saw this. He regarded Orochimaru as a good friend from the beginning to the end, but now it seems that he should give up this idea. Orochimaru to do such a shameless thing made Zille very disappointed. Hehe, Tsunade, agree or refuse. Naruto-kun's life is in your hands. Orochimaru has no chance to come. Since they all think that Naruto is in their hands, then this is a good opportunity. As long as they don't hand over Uzumaki Naruto, they can't do anything to themselves. And I don't know where Uzumaki Naruto is at all equals it is impossible to hand over Uzumaki Naruto equals it is impossible for them to shoot themselves. Orochimaru, I'm such a witty yuppie. The development of this plot is not right. If you don't fight, you still have to help Orochimaru? Shouldn't you just clean up the house for Konoha? Yunshu was stunned, and he suddenly seemed a little at a loss when he saw the scene in front of him. Measures. Looks like I'm going to interfere. Yunshu narrowed his eyes. It was impossible to release Naruto, since he ate my noodles. The reward would be Kyuubi, there was no choice. Yunshu split out a clone, turned into Naruto's appearance, and prepared to do something. Although there is a great possibility of being spotted, it doesn't matter, as long as you fight with Orochimaru, then we will be good friends. Lustful fairy. A shout attracted everyone's attention. Several people discovered that the person who came was Uzumaki Naruto. Wasn't he captured by Orochimaru? Naruto, you escaped. Jiraiya hugged Naruto and said excitedly, HMM. That guy with glasses took me away while I was exhausted from practicing spiral pills. Fortunately, I was smarter and hid a handful of kunai in my body, so I escaped. Naruto looked at the pocket, said in a tone of deep hatred and hatred. Double? Orochimaru looked suspiciously at the assistant at the side, who didn't expect this guy to secretly tie up Ninetales Jinchuriki and let him run away again. No. Lord Orochimaru. Listen to my explanation. I didn't kidnap him. Toku also looked confused, and it was all up to me to say it well. No matter what, since Uzumaki Naruto has appeared, a fierce battle is inevitable. Get ready to psychic. Orochimaru said with gloomy eyes. He still believed in Dao. After all, he even told Dao the most important secret technique of Orochimaru, such as turning around without a corpse, which also showed the position of Dao as a deputy in his mind. That's right. Yunshu raised his eyebrows and said while hiding in the dark. Psychic art. At Dashuan's feet, with Dashuan's mantra and blood, Dao finally channeled Wanch, the big man who loves to eat people. Ashimaru. X2 Jiraiya and Tsunade drawed at Orochimaru, and the two randomly summoned their own psychic beasts. It looks so shocking. Yunshu murmured, envious in his heart. After all, although these three psychic beasts are not as powerful as him, their huge size is amazing just by summoning them. Thinking that he was about to psychic Ninetales and damning Erming in the Douluo world, Yunshu's body was already trembling with excitement. Good guy. I thought of Yunshu slapping the floor with one hand on the soul fighting field, shouting a psychic technique, and a huge creature appeared on the soul fighting field, and a tailed beast jade would even blow up the entire soul fighting field. That scene must not be super shocking. Okay, the task is completed. I'll take a step first. Jiraiya and Naruto behind Tsunade raised their mouths slightly when they saw this, and then directly touched the shadow clone. Bang. What? Shadow clone. Jiraiya turned his head and saw that Naruto was nowhere to be seen. Only a puff of smoke remained. Seeing this, how could they not understand that they were being tricked? The stinky mouse in the dark. Did you deliberately provoke us to fight? Orochimaru finally understood that the guy who turned into Naruto was probably the culprit who took Naruto away. His original intention should be to provoke the battle between him and Tsunade Jiraiya, but because Jiraiya and the others mistakenly regarded the person who took Naruto as Orochimaru, the battle did not start at the beginning. As a result, this guy turned into Naruto now just to tell them that Naruto escaped from Orochimaru, and they don't have to treat Orochimaru anymore. Just go straight to work. Master Orochimaru, then what should we do now? Dao saw Yunshu's purpose. It was nothing more than wanting to target a certain side while they were fighting, or they were all three ninjas and the opponent's target. Don't worry, the mouse is just a mouse after all. No matter how insidious it is, it can't be the opponent of the snake. Orochimaru said disdainfully. Zinxing Orochimaru, I'm your father. Yunshu cursed secretly while hiding in the dark. In fact, Tsunade, who suffers from hemophobia, was stimulated with blood, and then Jiraiya fought against Orochimaru one-on-one. It took a lot of effort to solve it. As a result, because Orochimaru wanted to get rid of Tsunade who didn't heal her, when he and Tao were preparing to solve Tsunade, it happened to give Jiraiya time to enter the fairy mode. This is alright, although Tsunade and Shizune were seriously injured by Orochimaru and the two of them, but against Jiraiya, who has a Sage mode, Kato was directly hit by Jiraiya with a single move, and there was only one Orochi who could not seal. Meru was no longer Jiraiya's opponent, and the two of them knew that the battle was completely lost when they saw this, and then they prepared to leave. Hehe, Jiraiya. We will meet again. After the harsh words, Orochimaru waited for the reverse psychic technique with his bag that had been knocked out by the hammer. Shenru, don't worry. Yunshu rose from the ground wearing a vortex mask with soil and directly grabbed Orochimaru's arm, imprinting the imprint of time and space on his arm. Although it is not mentioned in the original book, according to Obito's ability to accurately transfer to the target every time, his space-time ninjutsu can be marked. Otherwise Obito disappears and reappears in another place every time. It will always be impossible to drive directly in the pitch-black place of Shenwei dimension. There is no reference in there. It is impossible to walk so accurately. End of this chapter. Chapter 100. The end of Naruto. You are that trainee from Akatsuki's organization, Orochimaru said in shock after seeing the mask. Orochimaru met Afei after joining the Akatsuki organization, that is, Obito, who wore a mask and pretended to be stupid, but because the other party was just a trainee member of the Akatsuki organization, Orochimaru didn't care much about this person, thinking that he was just a passerby. Yunshu let go of Orochimaru after marking it, and it was meaningless to capture him now. At least he had to follow him into his base. See you later. Yunshu smiled slightly at Shuan. Although he couldn't see it, he could at least hear Yunshu's mocking tone. Bang! With the appearance of a puff of smoke, Orochimaru and Kabu were reversed and returned, leaving only Yunshu and Jiraiya wearing whirlpool masks and others. Wait. Did you capture Naruto? Hand him over quickly. Seeing that Yunshu was about to leave, Jiraiya quickly came to Yunshu's side and prepared to stop Yunshu in immortal mode. So what can you do to me? Yunshu's familiar voice sounded, and Jiraiya also looked at Yunshu in shock after hearing it. It's you. Although Yunshu was wearing a whirlpool mask, he didn't change his voice like Obito did, so Jiraiya realized it after a while. The masked person in front of him was the one who defeated them in Konoha before. Uchiha Tree of Powerful Ninja. I'll accept Nine Tails. As for Naruto, it depends on God's will. Let's see if the Son of Destiny you mentioned is really him. Yunshu sank into the ground after leaving a sentence. Damn. Who is this guy? Jiraiya clenched his fists, but in the end he had no choice but to cancel the fairy mode and return to Tsunade. Shenru, here I come. Yunshu left Jiraiya and the others and went directly to the place marked before. Yo. As soon as Yunshu came out, he saw Dao, who was changing the medicine for Shuan. At this time, Dao had a bandage on his face, and it seemed that Jiraiya had hit him hard. Afei, are you here to clean up the traitors for the Akatsuki organization? Orochimaru also remembered the name of this person, looked at Yunshu coldly and said, No, I'm not Afei. Can't you hear the different voices? Yunshu said speechlessly. I don't know. At that time, I didn't care much about you, a clown. Orochimaru looked at Yunshu quietly and said, Yunshu, good guy. So, what do you want from me? Orochimaru also understands what is going on now. Since the other party dared to appear in her base blatantly, it shows that the other party has nothing to fear, and they are now one injured and one disabled. Obviously not the other party opponent. Do you still have Sharingan? Give me the rest, and give me a few more sealing techniques. Yunshu said lightly. The lion opened his mouth. Hehe. I just don't know if you can eat so much food. Dashuan was not happy when he heard it. It was obvious that he was here to grab something. I advise you not to resist. I'm afraid of trouble, and it will be bad for everyone. Yunshu said with a wave of his index finger. It's really not good, because his Sharingan has been reduced from 4K to 720p due to the use of Shenwei before, and he will soon become blind if this continues. Forget it, this is still more deterrent. Yunshu also felt that it was useless to just talk, so he took off the mask directly, revealing that immature face and a pair of kaleidoscope Sharingan. Kaleidoscopic Sharingan. So it's like this. Orochimaru understood the opponent's confidence after seeing it. Indeed, He really has nothing to do with Sharingan now, and it is precisely because of this that he is greedy for Sharingan. If his brother can't get it, he will go to get his younger brothers. This is the most important reason why Orochimaru is eyeing Sasuke, the reason, and her current body is about to fail. If she doesn't change her body quickly, she will really die. It can only be said that Yunshu's operation of knowing the plot and using the plot to give himself a great advantage is too perverted. Orochimaru never thought that the person in front of him knew everything about their world in this era. Dao, go and get the reserved Sharingan. The Shuin could only do so after being silent for a while. What do you need for the sealing technique? Orochimaru asked aggrievedly as he had to bow his head under the eaves. The 4-element seal that can seal the tailed beast, as well as the 5-element seal, and the reincarnation of the dirty soil will also be given to me. But don't worry, I will not use the reincarnation of the dirty soil in this world. Yunshu's last words were like a thunderbolt in Orochimaru. His ears exploded. You are. Orochimaru was so shocked that he was almost speechless. I knew that for a scientist, nothing is more attractive than the unknown. If you don't mess with me, maybe I can tell you the ultimate secret about your world. Ninja, oh no. It should be the origin of ninja and chakra. Yunshu smiled mysteriously and was about to leave anyway. This world is over. Spoiler, what happened later has nothing to do with me. Anyway, no matter how chaotic the world is, it has nothing to do with me. I see. I hope what you said is true. Even so, Orochimaru didn't want to get too excited, but just glanced at Yunshu with eyes that took away the deep meaning. Master Orochimaru, the Sharingan is here. Holding a glass water tank in his pocket, it was filled with the Sharingan of Wangyoucao. Only these 6 pairs, the rest were transplanted to Danzo's arm, and some, I know, on Zin's body. Where is Zin's person? Dashuin was interrupted by Yunshu before he could finish speaking. You know Zin. His body is a little special. I also know that I don't reject any transplanted organs, right? What about believers? Yunshu interrupted Orochimaru again. Orochimaru, can't you just let me finish my sentence at once? Is a letter in this base? He's in Shinzago's base. Do you need me to contact him? It's so far away, forget it. Yunshu shook his head. He didn't make a mark there, so it was too far to go there. Okay, let's forget about the letter. Give me the sealing technique and the reincarnation of the dirt. Yunshu said impatiently. Okay. With the help of Dao, Orochimaru got up and left to prepare these operations. Yunshu also began to prepare the secrets of the world of chance. He didn't intend to explain them one by one to Orochimaru. It would be too troublesome. It would be better to write them down and hand them over to him when the time comes. End of this chapter. End of this chapter. Thank you very much for reaching the end. Don't forget to like. Looking for more exclusive content and immediate access? Subscribe to our Patreon. Remember, every like, subscription, or donation encourages us to continue. Thanks to everyone. See you in the next video.